Well, you can tell they are the hardest tickets to get here in Regina. Good morning, Canada, and welcome to this opening day of the Canadian Curling Trials. How are you this morning? Have a great week. Excuse me a second, I'll get stepping in behind you. We are looking forward to a wonderful week as 10 men's and 10 women's teams play to determine to see who will represent Canada at the Salt Lake Winter Olympics next February. So in 9 days' time, we'll find out who will wear the maple leaf. Linda Moore, Ray Turnbull will join me this afternoon when we bring you the first men's draw. But first up, it is the women. And to bring that to you, John Wells, Kathy Gauthier, and Guy Hemmings. Enjoy the trials, everyone.
2000 was quite a year for Kelly Law and her dream team from Vancouver. A win at the Scott, a win at the Worlds. Now Law has her sights set on Olympic gold in Salt Lake. Sherry Middaugh and her team from Southern Ontario are the top bonspielers in the country. Couple that with a third at last year's Scott in Sudbury, and Middaugh's team is one of the favorites here in Regina. Good morning, I'm John Wells. Welcome to Regina. We're excited to be here for the 2001 Canadian Curling Trials. There is no tougher bonspiel anywhere in the world this year than what we're going to witness over the next 9 days here in Regina. The women's field is stellar. There are world champions and Scott Tournament Heart champions, the best field in Canadian women's curling ever assembled. And when you look at the men's drop, well, these guys have all won at least one Canadian championship. Most are world champions as well. Guy Hemmings joins Kathy Gauthier and myself here this morning. And Kathy, when you look at Guy, well shaved this early in the morning, this new career could be terrific for his personality. What do you think?
Well, I don't want to pick on his personality, but the fact that he shaved, I think, is a great step forward.
Usually at a bonspiel, you don't shave until what, Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday's my shaving day, usually.
You're looking splendid this morning. Let's take a look at our first match today. Sherry Middaugh going up against Kelly Law. And what's the challenge for Middaugh in game one?
Well, the challenge for Sherry is playing for emotion and not for money. That's how she got here, is through the money wins. She won the tour last year, and if you look at her standards this year, 25,000 plus. That does not include the pile that she took home at the women's JVC TSN game not that long ago. For Sherry, she consistently performs well under money. It's when the emotions take place. Maybe she wants it too hard. We'll have to see what happens this morning. She needs a huge game out of her third.
Kelly Law, what's the challenge for her squad today?
Yeah, Kelly's got all the experience needed to win this thing. I think she won the Scott, she won the World. She played under, even though she played under the 4 rock figure zone. I think that's the key for her, being able to manage that 4 rock yard zone. She got a really strong front end, especially as sweeping is concerned. So she got to find a way to keep the 4 foot open to give her a chance to draw the 4 foot when things don't go as well. So how's she going to manage the 4 rock figure zone? That's the key in this game for her.
We're going to watch some outstanding curling all week long here in Regina. Coming up first on draw number 1, it's Law versus Middaugh.
The 2001 Canadian Curling Trials on TSN are brought to you by the all-new 2002 Toyota RAV4. You belong outside.
John Wells, Kathy Gauthier, Guy Hemmings, live and lively in Regina on day 1 of the Canadian Curling Trials. They call it the Roar of the Rings here in Regina. 20 of Canada's top curling teams here to battle for 2 Olympic berths in Salt Lake, and there's no tougher curling competition anywhere in the world. On draw number 1, we'll be watching Ridgeway against Team Jones, the reigning world champion. Team LaRouche against Team Fowley. LaRouche made it after the 2001 Scott playoffs. Moving down to the battle of the Sherrys, Team Fraser against Team Anderson. Anderson, a two-time tour winner from Saskatchewan. Team Holland against Team King, the 98 Scott champion. And the feature match this morning, Team Middaugh of Ontario against the 2000 world champion, Kelly Law, and her team from British Columbia. Time now to read the ice. Kathy?
We talked about great teams. We have fabulous ice for them, and we're going to showcase their talents with 4 to 4.5 feet of movement around a center guard, regardless of which way you go. Into the wings, going around corner guards, that same big movement, finishing really hard at the end. The only spot that's a little straighter outside in, but even then, 3.5 feet of movement. That's a lot. There is no frost going to be building up at all out here, and the conditions, quite frankly, will not get better than this.
All right, Kathy, let's meet the teams on Sheet E. Sherry Middaugh versus Kelly Law. The leads, Cordina Nelson. The seconds, Laws and Wheatcroft. Thirds, Brown and Skinner. And there are the skips, Middaugh and Law. Should be a good match this morning. Guy, what do you say?
I think it's going to be a really close game. You know, I'm expecting to see Sherry Middaugh attacking right from the start. She's got a hammer to start this game, and I think she's going to exploit a free guard zone and go from the start. You know, I think she's going to be really aggressive right from the start.
It's interesting, you know, looking at the other sheets out here, everybody called the Rocks right in the house right away instead of playing the guards. I think that we might see a little bit more conservative game from these teams in the first couple ends, mostly for the reason that this is the first time that they are actually playing on this. They practiced yesterday, but game conditions are a little bit different.
So
Want to just feel each other out. Sorry, John.
When do they get aggressive?
Get keen, man.
Third,
really
fourth?
Quickly.
Well, I think that you don't want to wait any longer than the third. You've only got 10 ends, and these teams have tons of respect for themselves. But Sherry Middaugh, as Guy suggested, might take advantage of that last rock advantage and has asked Sherry to throw that corner guard. Kelly was hoping to force play into the house by going in.
Wait time.
Yeah, right from the start, you want to put the guards in play and try to be aggressive. Like that's what we should expect from this team, you know. They did practice on that ice a couple of times already. They just practiced right now. 10 minutes ago, they practiced yesterday. And usually on this condition, like it doesn't change much from practice, or so they already have their draw weight and they could afford to be. It's not like when they're playing in a regular bounce field where you don't know exactly what to expect about the stone or the ice. Right here, like everybody knows those stones, they know the ice. That's why I'm expecting more rocks in play right from the start.
Should remind people that these are 4 rock rule games. This is very similar to the conditions that they will take place in the Olympic Games themselves, which means that rocks that are in the free guard zone, which means not touching the house, cannot be removed until after the third stone is thrown. The reason that they could just eliminate that stone was because Sherry Cordina's rock slid into the house. As long as any part of that stone is touching the 12-foot circles, it may be removed from play. But now that the guard is not in the house, that stone cannot be removed from play.
So that's for Sherry to go after the stone right now in the house because she can't remove the guard, and so she's gonna go more on the open side.
Hurry! Hard!
So Kelly got the game on what she wanted for the first hand, especially like playing in the house, playing hit in the house. I think that's what she wanted to start the game with, you know, like not being in the situation like to give a 2-hander or 3-hander right from the start to Shelly Middaugh. So.
Nice shot.
Georgina Wheatcroft for Kelly Law.
I think a lot of these teams, especially for teams like Kelly Law that really qualified a couple of years ago for this, have been just saying, let us throw rocks. I met Kelly's husband, Bruce, at the airport last night on the way in to town, and I said, you know, are the girls ready? And he said, oh, for sure, they just want to play. And for all of these teams, it's from the moment that you qualify for the Canadian Scott Tournament of Hearts, and I'm sure the same would apply for the Brier. You just want to get out there and play because the adrenaline's been building and building, and I think that for all of these women's teams out here, they're glad they're playing this morning. They're glad that they're getting this underway.
Sherry Middaugh's team qualified as the 2000 Women's Curling Tour champions.
Here's the chance that Kelly's been waiting for.
Yep.
Saw a little bit of a miscue from the Middaugh team. Not sure whether they got some movement to the rock, or as we talked at the top of the show, there's just tons of movement. Got to throw it clean, otherwise you're going to miss the stone.
Georgina Wheatcroft.
What'd you get?
How's the way?
T-line.
Ram.
T-line.
Yep.
It's a slide along way.
Yeah, hard, hard.
Great sweeping ice. You got a good front end out here. They're going to work really hard. This is where conditioning is going to be a huge factor, but they will be able to pull a rock a long, long way.
Okay.
It's fine.
So look at the ice times, Kathy.
Here's what we're looking for. 14 is the draw times between the two hog lines. That converts to about 24 seconds. That means 15 and a half on a guard, and if you're throwing much more than a 9-second takeout, which would be about 4 for Wayne Middaugh and Kevin Martin, however, that's what you want to stay in that range. The rocks are still going to have a little bit of movement, but you can see the draw weight is really quick, and you really got to use your sweepers out here. You just heard Kelly Law's team talking about what did you get, and they said 375. That's what we're showing you on the screen here. That refers to the back line right in front of the hack to the first tee line. It is one of the tools that teams use, particularly the sweepers, to judge whether they need to jump on a stone or let it go.
I don't know if what you heard in the background there, Kathy, is part of the roar of the rings, but
Sounded like a moose.
Ooh, not curling much there yet.
Sorry, Ray.
he's just rolled over. He'll be here for the afternoon draw along with.
I was looking in the background when Victor was coming in with his tickets to see if Ray and Linda were coming. I couldn't believe
Well, Linda might
they
be here
weren't
somewhere,
there.
but Ray won't be around till the 5th end anyway, I'm sure of that.
Okay, control.
That rollout allows Sherry Middaugh to have a second go at the stone out there biting on the edge of the rings.
Yeah, you could see like that rock, like that roll out. It just seems
Whoa,
to
man,
hang around on the red line,
whoa.
4-foot line. You know, that usually happen
Whoa,
often in
right
the ice these days. And as soon as you
Clean.
raise the
Whoa,
weight a bit,
whoa,
you know,
whoa.
you can't cross that
No,
line.
no.
It seems. It's, I think what's happened in that shot.
No.
Middaugh's third, Janet Brown.
That's good.
Middaugh with the hammer here in the opening end.
Gives us a chance maybe to, here's Julie Skinner. Here's the key matchup, I believe, today. And quite frankly, Guy, as we look at the fields, you and I have talked about this before, we see that there is a fair amount of parity amongst the skips, but often we're wondering if this championship's going to be dictated by the thirds.
Yeah, you look, there's a couple of, I would say 3 skip, I think, have experiences
move
in
on that
trials
line.
before, but only 1/3 and she was skipping at a time, but she got a trials experience. It's Julie Skinner, so it might make a difference in that game and all through the week. We'll have to check it out closely. Once again, you saw in our shot that how the rocks ride the red line,
Line's
you know, so
good.
you got to be really careful you don't set those rock out on that
Line's good.
particular spot on the ice because it won't come back.
Easy.
Final stone for
Easy.
Sherry Middaugh's third, Janet Brown.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Room, stay close though, room. Room. Here we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Front of the tee line. Line's great. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right
Couple
on.
options Sherry Middaugh had. If she wanted to
Nope,
play
nope.
really conservative,
Great
she
shot.
could have hit that Yellowstone and rolled in the rings. We would have seen that by a lot of the teams. What Sherry's saying is,
Come
I've
down
got
to
last
the top of
rock.
that
I
back.
want to score 2.
Straight back.
And she gets it just in front of the tee
Come
line
on,
where they were
please.
looking to put that red stone.
And you could see with the big movement on the side too, like you give you a chance to be more aggressive. This rock is about 8 inches short of the house, and she's still able to bury
Touch
a rock
more.
right behind. And that's really a good ice condition, and give a chance to the team to be more aggressive. If it's a couple of feet in front and you can't bury, that might change the game a bit. But now with that good ice, you could be aggressive and go around almost anything, you know.
Kelly not able to see much from the hack. Talked to her front end, electing to play the run back. Should say right off the top that talk about Gagnon, you talk about Wuthrich. When it comes to ice conditions, they are the best in the world, and they're both responsible for the ice this whole week.
Here comes a raise back. It's not the kind of shot you want to throw in your first stone in the first hand, a raise back, but
Yep.
Whoa.
Whoa. Close.
Whoa.
Down to skip stones here in the opening end. Kelly Law
Close to start.
without the hammer.
Shot.
should make it really good, you know, like you're pretty satisfied with make contact, you know. Later in the game, like they'll
probably
be
take center.
more
Well,
aware of the
actually,
ice
it's
and what
outside
to
of
take
center, I
exactly,
think.
but now like just
Yeah.
making contact with the rock in the house, it's already a bonus. Like I said, first hand,
Yeah,
you're hoping
I
a free
doubt
draw
it.
or something like that, or a straight
Maybe a little bit
peel,
more,
but
Janet.
raise
No way.
takeout right from the first hand, it's always a bit scary.
That's great.
But we're going to see over the week more of those shots. Like I think the race takeout now might be the most important shot in curling, like
This
with,
one will
especially
go
with
about
the
3 feet
4
more,
rock
guys,
3 guard
so-
zone. Like A few years ago was a draw game, and I'd say the early 80s, late 70s was a takeout game. Now I think it's a race takeout game. You know, and you'll see, especially on the men's side, how often those race takeout would be played, would be called, and will be made. You know.
Line's good.
Sherry Middaugh's first stone is on the way.
Line's great. Line's great.
Once again, look at the amount of height she took to go around that far corner guard.
Line's great.
She even crossed the center line. You know.
Ram.
And in as much as Guy said that on your first stone, you don't want to be playing the straight run back for Kelly Law, what you do like to be doing is just throwing a draw.
Parcel to go, guys.
Nicely done.
Good sweep.
Sherry Middaugh of Southern Ontario having a super year in the Bonspiel circuit. Born in Saskatchewan, lives in Ontario now, so strong curling roots, obviously.
So a much simpler shot here for Kelly. She just got to hit this round and try to roll in the middle of the house and try to force Shelley to hit and stick for her one. It's already way easier than a race takeout, which I'm sure she'll feel good about that.
BC's Kelly Law, the 2000 Scott Tournament of Hearts champion and winner of the Worlds that year in Glasgow.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Her final stone of the opening end.
Yep. Clean. Yep. Whoa, that's good. Clean. Nice shot, Kelly. Great shot.
It's a good shot. That's what you want to hear as a sweeper. You want to hear clean right from the start. You know you're really close, and you won't have to work too hard. You won't have to pound the rock all the way. So just a nice clean all the way. It's pretty good.
Good first end for Kelly. Had a tough one to face on her first one, but came to play, made that stone, and now forces Sherry Middaugh to make this stone, hit it and roll out if she wants to preserve that last rock advantage going into the second end. For Sherry, shot's a little bit easier if you go by the simple draw and the hit. Nonetheless, with all the nerves that are involved and all the waiting, these are two big shots.
Hurry,
The first end of this important championship to determine Canada's winners.
Clean.
Sherry Middaugh looking to hit and roll out to save the hammer for end number 2.
Blank, Julie?
Nicely done. Middaugh blanks it. 0-0. We're at the Canadian Curling Championships in Regina. We're live at the Canadian Curling Trials. First update of the morning. On sheet D, it's Kathy King against Amber Holland of the Cali Club in Regina. King with the Yellow Rocks facing 2. And the brushers are on it all the way. Looking at 2. King is on the mark and gets 1. So it's King leading Holland after 1. Ridgway leads Jones on sheet A. And on sheet B, Victoria Curling Club, Marie-France LaRouche and Heather Fowley. It's LaRouche with the hammer, leading 1-0. In the Battle of the Sherrys, first end was blanked by Sherry Anderson of Delisle, Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Back to the feature game on sheet E as the second end is
Nice shot.
underway. Sherry Middaugh and Kelly Law.
Just in front, Sherry.
It's a bit of a repeat of the first end. Like once again, Kelly Law has her lead to put it in the house, like to keep it more open, and but Sherry Middaugh has for a corner guard, and once again, Cordina slide into the house, giving a chance to Kelly Law to play the hit and try to keep it more open.
Hurry. Hurry. Right up, right up.
Good question.
Roll it
Sherry
down,
Middaugh
roll it.
does want to
Nice
play
shot.
the aggressive game. She does want to get some rocks in play, but the biggest advantage of the free guard zone is the fact that the other team can't remove your stones, but they have to be in front of the house for that to happen. And twice, as Guy said, a bit of a repeat. Sherry Cordina sliding a little bit too far.
Here's Georgina Wheatcroft for Kelly Law's team out of the Royal City Curling Club in New Westminster, BC.
Whoa! Great shot.
Nice shot, George.
4-rock rule being used in this Canadian Curling Trials Championship because it is the rule of the world and it will be used at the Olympic Games. Kat?
Well, it really is, and this is what the teams will play under in Salt Lake City, and so why not send the team that plays it the best? biggest thing is look at 2 and 3. The area between the hog line and the tee line, excluding the house, is the free guard zone, but the rock must be completely in that zone. We've shown you with Sherry Cordina, if it's touching the house, it can be removed. If it's in front, your third bullet right there, you cannot remove that stone from play. There are a couple of other minor differences that these teams will face at the Olympic Games. World rules, which include smaller adjustment, things like the front end needing to stop sweeping at the tee line. They cannot, under any circumstances, sweep a rock behind that. That is only for the skip, and then the third when it's their turn. So those are smaller things, but the CCA made the decision, and I think it's a very good one, that given that these teams will be playing under the 4-guard zone in Olympics, why not send the team that seems to be able to play it the best? Guy, think that's a good idea?
I think it's a really good idea. Like, and not only here this week they play under the 4-rock figure zone, but all through the fall, many spiels go for the 4-rock figure zone to give a chance to those teams going to play here this week to get used to it. You know, it's a bit of different as far as strategies calling. You know, you don't call the game exactly the same. Shot making is basically the same. It doesn't change the shot. You know, a draw weight still the same draw weight, but the way you're going to call the game, the way you're going to approach the strategy of this game change a bit. So most of those teams play at least 2 or 3 spiels so far this season to get used to that, and so it helps. You're going to get them ready for the Olympics, and no matter which team's going to win it.
Andrea Laz for Sherry Middaugh's team.
The shit and roll out here is try to stick or add a chance for a double, or at least stick in the house. Because right now, like Kayla could throw the guard in front and protect that stone, which is a pretty good spot for her in a 4-foot.
Yeah.
Andrea Laws having a bit of a slow start. She's a very, very solid player. Won Canada 1990 with Allison Goring from Ontario.
Here's Kelly Law's third, Julie Skinner, who's won her share.
Got a
as
band,
a skip
guys.
and a third.
Hurry!
Oh, they got to work hard to get this in the over the hog line.
Yeah, we talk about the front, sweeping front end. We're gonna,
it's not that
we gotta
key,
make
eh?
it work a bit harder. That's a strong sweeping front end, but you gotta give it a chance, you know, to get over the rock.
Need a little help from the thrower.
I think even myself, I couldn't get it over.
I can guarantee you yourself couldn't get it over.
I'm talking about the first hog line.
Clean. Clean. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Door opens
Clean
again
it.
for Sherry
Clean.
Middaugh. A little bit
Clean. Yep.
of an opportunity for Law to put some
That's
pressure
good. Got the nose.
on the Sherry Middaugh team.
Sorry, Andrea, a bit too much ice.
Lost that a little bit.
Middaugh blanked the first hand to control the hammer here in 2. Shot stone belongs to Janet Brown.
You heard the comment by Sherry Middaugh to Andrea. Felt that she gave her a little bit too much ice. For Andrea, who struggled a little bit in the first end, it's really important that she knows that she's throwing the rock well. It's just a little bit of adjustments for Sherry. Just needs to tighten the ice up a little bit for Andrea. Really good communications
more
amongst
weight
the
again?
team.
That
Julie
wasn't bad.
Skinner.
I gotta throw board
Empties the
again.
house.
Right here.
It's just not moving at all. We have throwing.
Yeah, once again, they were talking about moving it all. Like, it's just that line, like on the edge of the 4-foot, like they'll adjust, I'm pretty sure, because it's not something like it's unusual. It's pretty common now. Most of the spiel are going to play, the ice is going to ride a bit straighter, especially if you raise the weight a bit along that 4-foot line. So you got to make sure if you miss the room, you're going to miss it tight, you know, because the sweeper could back it off. You know, usually go easier to back it off than holding,
that's
than
good.
make
Just
it
keep
curl
it
on
clean.
that. So make sure you're not wide on that line, and I think they'll adjust to that
That's good. Nice weight, Janet.
sensitive spot, if I could call it.
Middaugh's third, Janet Brown,
Threw that pretty good last time.
just back at the tee line.
So right now we're back like Sherry Middaugh's trying to blank again. You know, it's too late to be really aggressive to throw any guard, so she won't take any chance. She try to exchange hit till the end of this hand and keep the hammer for second hand. So this free guard zone, like either you talk about the 3-rock free guard zone or the 4-rock free guard zone, really puts lots of emphasis on the front end. You know, like a first 2 hand, like Sherry Cordina slide into the house with his first stone, and we're seeing 2 open hand. You know, like instead of seeing lots of rocks in play,
Clean.
and really changed the game like a few years ago when they changed, and especially now with the 4-rock free guard zone, it's even more emphasis on the lead in second. So you can make sure you put those rock in front if you have a chance in your back end to score points.
I knew I was a touch down on that, right?
Well, we would have expected a few more rocks in play through the first 2 ends with
It's
before
heavier
rock
over there,
ruled.
because you look like you gunned it.
But then again, as you said at the outset, Kathy, these two teams, first game of this championship, you're feeling each other out a little bit and getting a little more accustomed to the ice.
Well, and the other reality is that there's been some misses. Otherwise, we would have had more rocks in play. Sherry Middaugh has been trying for the last two ends to force the play, to get some guards up. And both times the leads come in the house, and that's changed the game around. Then when we finally had a chance for Kelly Law to guard a stone of her own, Julie Skinner hugs it. So it's not that the teams aren't trying to generate some offense. It's just not happening so far.
Well, and it's getting accustomed to the ice, I would suppose, with the misses that we have seen. First stone for Middaugh here in the second end.
Yeah, we talked. Those teams waiting for a year and a half to play this game, like the lead slide in the house twice, maybe a bit more adrenaline than usually. You know, you throw it a bit harder than you're expecting to throw. You know, gotta give them credit. It's easier from here.
Oh, it's got a good hook to it. It might have been a little quiet. Yeah. I felt like I was sliding a little wide.
Kelly Law, one of two world champions in this field, in Regina with her final stone.
Yep.
Of the second end.
Hurry!
Hard!
Looking at one Middaugh rock in play.
Hurry! Hurry! Hurry, hurry. Good shoot. Good shot. Sweep it, guys. Sweeping. Okay.
Pretty well set up, just like the first end here.
About the same you'd think is.
It is. It's a little bit easier maybe to hit and roll out. She's closer to the wings where the ice runs a little bit straighter. Not going to curl as much for her.
Firm weight. We throw this in practice? Not down here.
Each team allowed 10 minutes before each draw to throw the stones that they will be playing in the game, just to practice a little bit, get a feel of the ice, just test out the path, that they're curling as much or not curling as much as practiced yesterday. It's also a really great way to kind of get some of the nerves under control before the game actually starts.
Final stone for
clean,
Sherry Middaugh, end number 2 against Kelly Law. Looking for the same results as the opening end. Cleans the house, a hit and roll.
So what do I say? Don't
So
say
Middaugh hangs on to the hammer as we head to end number 3. We're live at the Canadian Curling Trials, and let's move to Sheet C for another update this morning. We're in the second end. It's a battle of the Sherry. Sherry Fraser against Sherry Anderson. Sherry Anderson with the Yellowstones facing one and looking to draw. Not much action from the sweepers.
It's interesting to see how much ice you took for that draw. Like, it's a really good sign, you know. Like, you like it when you have to free draw. You don't have to worry about the line. It's just a weight shot right now.
And a little too much. So Sherry Fraser of British Columbia steals one from Sherry Anderson. Sheet A, it's Michelle Ridgway and Colleen Jones. Jones picks up 2 in the second end for a 2-1 lead. LaRouche against Heather Fowley. It is 2-1 for Fowley now. Match we just showed you, 1-0 Fraser. And it's 1-1. Amber Holland and Kathy King. Over to our feature match on Sheet E, Sherry Middaugh, Kelly Law. No scoring so far. Back-to-back blanks by Sherry Middaugh.
What you didn't see, but what we know happened in the Marie-France game on her last stone was playing a hit to lie 3, jammed it. All of a sudden, Heather Fowley scores 2, so one rock can make a difference. Obviously, an end controlled by the young skip from Quebec. One bad rock, and all of a sudden 2 points on the board for her opponent.
In our game, like for a change, we got a corner guard, like same strategy from Kelly. She put it in the 4-foot, and Sherry Cordino made her corner guard. She made sure that time that she's not slid in the house. She's about just a couple of feet over the hog line, and Kelly throw the center guard. So we're up for a good hand here, I think.
We are for sure. It's a long guard, which means that they can get around it. Sherry perhaps a little bit tight. Going to be on the guard, and raises the Law stone into the house.
Fine.
To lie 2.
So 4 rocks in play.
Yeah.
Here's a spot that Guy and I have been talking about, right in about these lines here, and in this center path, rocks tend to run a little bit straighter. We see the red piping on the ice. And we've always talked about, you know, they've used different things over the years. They use paint, they use string, they use yarn. They use a number of things underneath the ice surface to try not to create ridges where the rocks will ride along. But what we traditionally see in this path is that, particularly with the full weight shot, not with the draw, but the rocks tend to run straighter in those paths, and that's where we saw a lot of the rollouts in the first and second end.
Yeah.
Kelly Law's second, Georgina Wheatcroft.
It's tight on its own.
A little tight, they think.
It's tight on its own. Good shot.
Want to block that side of the house for Sherry Middaugh to not be able to draw in.
Straight back.
So Law, without the hammer here, has created an opportunity.
Sherry playing the straight back. If she makes it, it's good. The problem with this shot is if she hits it on the nose and goes through the hole, she's going to be leaving a center guard there. Sherry Middaugh has last stone and wants to make sure that she's at least got a shot for herself.
No!
I think she's playing the race takeout now because she got a couple of options. If you had 2 ticks, she could kill the other yellow and open the other side, or jam it on the one in the T line on the right side.
Okay.
Oh, just missed it.
And just missed there. Andrea Laws the second for Sherry Middaugh.
Like you said, that was a dangerous calling, that shot, you know, but she felt confident. She had 3 chances, you know, 3 angle that was good for her, but she had right and the wrong angle.
Pretty tough, like you say. If she hits either one of them, it's good, but as a result, not only has she left the guard there, but now for Georgina Wheatcroft, a chance to get in there. If she gets into the top of the 8-foot, top of the 4-foot, now Sherry Middaugh is in a pile of trouble.
Georgina Wheatcroft, her final stone.
You got 4 foot.
For Kelly Law here in the third end.
High is better.
4 foot. Whoa. Whoa.
Wants to stop now.
It's already
A little deep.
Chop. It's fine.
Well, they say it's fine. A little deeper than what you would have thought, though.
Yeah, I think they were playing to try to go top of the 8, you know, but they slide a bit too far. But it's still a bad situation, you know. But if you come and just tap it a bit or play like I think she's calling for a takeout and stay on top of it, she won't be shot, but she should be suddenly a really good position for Sherry Middaugh. So if you would have stayed a bit longer, you know, even if you hit on it like a rock in the 4-foot, would still be shot and not a rock freezing on it.
Yellowstones belonging to the Kelly Law team, and third Janet Brown and Sherry Middaugh. Thinking about or Andrea Laws rather.
That's a key shot there. She gotta get to the nose of that stone to make sure she stay up there. If she hit and roll over, Kelly might just hit it again and roll over the other one. So that's her key shot here.
Was looking for board, needs to curl, wants to hit at least half of that stone. Needs to stick around. She gets 1.
And
rolls to third.
Rolls to the edge of the 12. So Law still with an opportunity without the hammer here at 3.
I got 4 or 6 on your guard.
Where Andrea hit it too, it moved one of them out of play for sure, but it pushed the other yellow one further behind the guards.
Third stones to come. Julie Skinner for Kelly Law.
So it's the same call right now, like on the Georgina last stone, to try to be on top of the house, not too deep. Protect that stone in the 4-foot.
Yep.
Nice weight.
Yeah, they'll take it in a little deeper.
Okay, shot, Julie.
Yeah, that's a better spot. Now it's really tough to get in there, you know, without rolling open. It's basically impossible. So
That's where she wanted it. How was the split? 94? It's just not curling as much. It's curling nicely, but we need a little less ice, right? Might be able to get 2. If not, that's there. Control.
Hoping to score 2 if they get by the guard tight.
Sherry Middaugh's third, Janet Brown.
Close, yes! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, 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 yeah! 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 Whoa, whoa!
Around there.
Gets 2.
1, 2.
Very nice.
Very nicely played by Janet Brown to get Middaugh out of a pile of trouble.
That's the player I said at the top of the show that I thought would have to play extremely well today for Sherry Middaugh to win this. And if that's any indication that she's telling me what she thinks of me. Great shot by Janet.
Julie Skinner now for Kelly Law.
Line Tighter.
Lots line. Well done.
So Kelly's still shot rock though. Now she's trying to go around again, back in the same spot. And
Tons of room. Yep.
she could have guarded Yellowstone, but there's no point, like you want to force to play more in the 4-foot, force Sherry Middaugh to have a tough shot on her last round, or last rock, if you guard a rock in the 12 feet zone, she's probably going to have an open draw for the 4-foot. That's why she go right back behind the center guard.
Knew that Julie had the weight.
Like to come down, or you want to try it?
Here are their options.
Yeah, she did slide a bit too far, so give a chance to Middaugh's team to just froze on it. And
there's the double.
She's behind the tee line, and
Well, it's there. It's there.
Got it up there.
Firm weight.
that's the option here. They're talking
Wanna
about
get
this
about
double,
here,
if you could
Janet?
make this double, because it's always tempting when you have a couple of wider in the house. So we could see that red at the back of the
Firm
house
weight.
and one on the 12-foot. If you could make that double the light three, that's good changes and really fast.
it really does.
It's always
Turns it
tempting.
right around.
Yeah, it's
So-
always tempting to try those big shots.
Here's Janet Brown.
Oh, yeah!
Made a great shot in her first one.
Her final shot of the end. Opportunity to turn things right back for Sherry Middaugh, who has the hammer again in 3.
Got it a little bit thick for the double, but does make the hit and roll, and it
And
looks,
it looks
to be
like
shot.
Yes.
That's a nice plan B, I would say.
Sorry, Janet. I thought you were a little wide.
I know for a little wide, but I kind of corrected it. I think.
Yeah, and it moves so hard.
See what I mean?
Two really good shots from the third here, because now the pressure is completely on Kelly Law. She can't afford to miss a guard there, because as soon as she can touch that red, this yellow at the back got to be gone, and she could be facing a big hand here.
Sherry Middaugh does have last rock. Lies 1, 3, and 4. Kelly wanting to come down on top of those stones.
Sweet.
Would really like to put the stone right about here. Probably, well, there is no chance for her to be shot unless she comes way out to the outside, which she doesn't want to. Really, at this point, wants to close off that button. Say to Sherry Middaugh, maybe you get one. If she touches it a little bit, she might get one, really minimizing the risk at this point.
Down to skip stones, Kelly Law.
It's a big shot for Kelly. This is her first draw. If you
Line's
remember
good.
the first end, she played the run back on her first, a hit on her second. Pair of hits last end.
Line's good.
Whoa!
First draw.
Whoa!
How much weight?
Whoa!
Wyatt
then.
controlling the early going in the
Let it
third, but it's
curl.
shifted around to Sherry
Gotta curl
Middaugh.
a lot, Di.
Whoa!
Don't
Waiting
want
for
to
this
bounce
to move.
off
Comes
this.
down. Yep.
Yeah! Whoa, 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 whoa,
whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a great,
Great
shot.
first
Good shot,
draw.
Kelly.
Outstanding shot for Kelly Law's first.
Nice shot.
Off it, man.
Good shot.
Drives me nuts.
What's that? Oh, I know. I had a good line.
Huh?
Yeah, we can see the red still shot there, but it's going to be really tough to squeeze another one in or try to get those two yellow out and bring those two red that we see on the side in play.
Play
It's going to be
back
really
line
tough
weight at
now.
it
That's what
and try and
Kelly
get to
really
the
wants.
inside
Make
of
sure
it.
we don't bring those two reds in play, because that's the one they scare you.
Well,
When
even
you
if
don't
we
have
get
the
to the
hammer,
nose, that's
seeing
not
the
bad, right?
opponent
Okay.
having a couple
move
of
them
buyer in the
around a
house,
bit.
or even though you're a shot rock or a second shot
back
rock,
line. I think we
it's
need
getting
to.
really nervous, because they could throw a raise takeout anytime and score a big hander. Now putting a second rock in the house
keep
is
our
secure a
tab
bit
here.
his position or position.
It'd be nice to keep those rocks in play if she makes a mistake on her last one. Right?
Yeah, but like if we move that one back too much and then we give her that, we could really have a tough last shot.
Yeah. So just back line? I gotta make sure I'm back line, or else that's just gonna go back forward.
Yep.
Zero's still on the board as Middaugh has blanked the first two ends against Kelly Law.
Just back line. It'd be nice to throw more just to keep our other rocks in play, but if we don't set up a good scenario for
Tap,
us.
tap, tap back here.
Because back line's only gonna pump it to back 8. Do you guys like
Do you
playing
like that,
that?
Kath?
She's looking at ways that she can score at least 2. You might be thinking, well, why doesn't she just throw a
Little
guard
left,
and
Janet.
worry about her second point later? What she'd like
Well,
to
I'm
do
not
is
gonna
if she
make sure I'm
taps
right.
this back, depending on what Kelly does, she's thinking potentially she might get 3. Heard her say to Janet, maybe if she makes a mistake, we might have a shot later. This is about trying
Yeah.
to really force an opponent who you respect very much to make a very difficult shot.
Sherry Middaugh's first stone.
Whoa!
Third end. Middaugh.
Don't keep the angle, guys.
Come on, right out, right out.
Just rearranges it a little bit there. And remains the shot stone, I do believe.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
It's
Pretty
hard
close,
to
that
tell.
yellow now.
What you want to do on that one, she want to keep her shoulder in front of the yellow, you know,
bad.
make sure she, if she
And
make the
just tips
mistake
that
she's
one, you
talking
can actually
about, she
get them
could play on
both.
her own
Or
rate and
this.
kill the only yellow in the house right now.
Yeah.
That's a tough call.
And then roll, right?
I'm thinking red.
Like that?
Geek?
I think it's red too.
It'll get that out, right?
Yeah.
Well,
That's what I thought originally, and then you guys talked me out of it. He said it was very close. And so I'm going to slide over to Guy's side pretty quickly, and now you're taking back.
the opening show, we're talking about how lovely he looks. Like, I have no respect whatsoever.
We knew you were right all the way, we just tried to make it exciting.
About that?
Normal.
So final rock for Kelly Law in 3 coming up. These teams are not wearing provincial colors here. So
Much less.
what we have in our opening draw is 2 teams in red and black. So it's a little bit difficult to ascertain the players at every glance when they're both wearing the same colors.
Rolling over this way.
Sherry did very much want to stay in front of that stone. For Kelly now, the hit and stick here pretty much blocks off the top of the 4-foot, making a shot to score 2. Really, really tough. Wants to stick it right on the nose.
Yeah, right on the nose. If she overcurled a bit, she might give him a double for a big hand.
Final stone for Kelly Law. Calling them off.
Girl.
Has she got what she
Good
needs?
shot, Kelly. Great shot. Okay.
Well, that's a chance for red to count 2.
Think about here.
Yeah.
Worked out actually pretty well for her for not hitting it on the nose.
Good shot.
See if they talk about her
I don't
weight.
know if that was there.
Yeah, it was close. That's okay. I was just trying to hit and roll that one over there.
Yeah.
So a free draw for 2 here.
Okay, guys, 2 line.
Needs full 4-foot to score 2
4.5.
points and open up this game.
5.
Sherry Middaugh's final stone coming up. Chance for 2 in the 3rd end after blanking.
Last Janet.
Ends 1 and 2.
That's really the skip paradise, you know, like having a draw for 2, free draw for 2. That's all we want to draw about.
It's all the skip
shot.
dreams of,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the shot
Line
you're looking
tight,
for
real
every hand.
tight. Hurry. Hurry.
Well,
Great
it took
judges.
Middaugh
Real
a
tight,
couple of
guys,
ends to
hurry.
arrange it.
Looking
on,
for
quick.
14 when it hits the hog
Real
line.
quick. Come on. Hard,
That'll
hard,
give you a
hard.
sense
Hard,
of whether
hard.
she's close. 1487, just a little light.
Sorry, guys.
So light
Just went
there,
right out of my
settles for
hand.
1. Chance for a deuce. Middaugh settles
Weight
for
would've been
1.
Good, I think. A little
And turns
soft.
the hammer over to Kelly Law.
Sorry, it almost
Heading
seemed
to
to go
4.
right out of my hand.
We're at the Canadian
Did it?
Curling
Yeah, like it
Trials
felt
in
funny,
Regina.
right out of my hand.
We're back at the Canadian Curling Trials live from Regina. Good morning, everyone. It's day 1. We're over to Sheet C for an update. Sherry Anderson with the Yellowstones against Sherry Fraser.
Yeah, we talk,
3rd end. And here's your dream game.
yeah, we
Chance
talk
for
about
3.
free draw for 2, but free draw for 3s are even better. You know, like that's all you can hope for.
Sherry
Sherry
Middaugh missed, but Sherry Anderson.
Scores a field goal. Maybe the Bombers can pick her up.
So it's 3-1. Sherry Anderson leading Sherry Fraser. Michelle Ridgway trailing Colleen Jones, the defending world champion, 2-1 as they play 4. Heather Fowley has the lead. Marie-France LaRouche, 2-1, playing 4. And Anderson, Fraser is 3-1. We showed you that. King leads Holland 2-1 on sheet D. And right next door, Sherry Middaugh with a chance for 2 in the previous end.
What a
Couldn't
happy
come up with
face.
it. That wasn't Sherry.
No line at
But there
all.
are an awful lot of Sherrys in
Here
this
we go, yep.
championship.
There are indeed. Apparently that's the name to
Hurry,
have
quick.
in this
Oh, just
championship.
short, though. Just short. Just short. Just short. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay, now it's interesting to see there's a difference in the strategy. Like we saw Kelly Law throw the first rock in the house, first 3 hand, but Sherry Middaugh has for a center guard, which she got from Sherry Cordina. And instead of throwing the corner guard, Michaela, she decided to go around. So she wanted to keep, once again, she's trying to keep the play more open, that instead of throwing the corner guard and go after a big hand.
And watch watching Kelly quite a bit this year through a lot of the coverage that we did earlier that you may have seen through WTSN and TSN. We saw that Kelly early in the season went at teams really, really hard. And when they got burned very badly. In many of the games, in fact, one time in Winnipeg, they were down about 5 points after 5, and they did fight back to win. And at that point, we almost started to see a shift in her approach to the game, which has been a little bit more conservative, almost waiting for the other teams to come to her. And then in the latter part of the game, we see Kelly really go at teams when she feels that her team is really ready to play.
Andrea Laws for Sherry Middaugh. Middaugh without the hammer after taking 1 and 3. So Kelly Law has the first opportunity to get a few things going with the yellow rocks here. And looking at the last rock.
Good shot.
Here in N4.
Nicely done by Andrea.
Andrea Laws comes up with another nice shot.
It's a great shot for Andrea. Not only does she make the double, but she rolls it behind the center guard.
Say, Kath, you're an old Bison, aren't you?
I'm not an old Bison.
Well, a former
I'm a
Bison.
young Buffalo.
An ex-Bison. How about the Vanier Cup on TSN this afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern? St. Mary's against those Manitoba Bisons.
It's been a great year for football in Manitoba for sure.
Well, then there was last week, and those Blue Bombers didn't quite get the job done.
No,
However, great year.
They had a fabulous year, and for those people, those fans that have stayed true fans for the Bombers over the last couple of years, they certainly didn't hit pay dirt, but came awfully close. A great run.
5.5.
10-team round robin at the Canadian Curling Trials. This is draw number 1. Draw number 2 this afternoon features the men. And we'll be looking at a feature match there of Jeff Stoughton from Manitoba against Randy Furby, the defending
just halfway.
Brier champion from Alberta. So that's coming your way at 1:30 Eastern this afternoon. But right now the focus is on the stellar field of Canada's top women curlers.
Hurry.
No.
Hurry.
The field here is just tremendous, whether you're looking at the men's or the women's. There's no sort of sheet that you'll look at and see someone that you don't know. It's the who's who of curling. And we're going to see some fabulous shot making. It's also very emotionally draining. Having played in quite a few Scott Tournament of Hearts and Worlds before, those are draining, but there's something magical about the Olympic Games. No matter what my experiences have been at 2 Worlds, I can't even imagine what it would be to play in an Olympic Games representing Canada.
Now, you missed the trials in Brandon in '97, right?
Good shot.
Connie was there, your skip, but you were on the sidelines, so to speak.
Calving.
Yeah.
I like back here.
Here's
Great
Sherry.
game by Janet. I'm just moving away from you, Wellesley. I'm going to go into stats if you're all right with that. Janet, we talked about the need for her to have a great game. It doesn't get any better than 100%.
Okay. Here.
Yeah, her last 2 shots in the last end really saved the hand for Sherry. You know, gave her a chance to score a deuce. She didn't do it, but the 2 shots from her to really changed her hand around. It was really going well for Kelly Law.
And look at her opponent, Julie Skinner, at 58%. Here's where, you know, if we're going to give an edge to a third, as you suggested, Guy, we've got someone who's skipped at an Olympic trials before, who's played in Worlds as a skip, who's a huge sort of, she's a very emotional player, but she brings a lot to the game. And when Julie plays good, she plays very, very good, but she does have games where she kind of slides. And when you got a 58 to 100% difference in thirds, you got to know the shots the skips are facing will be very, very different.
I got a hit.
Interesting there, though, the advantage didn't work out for Middaugh when she had the opportunity last end. I mean, she had the chance for 2. She was set up by her third, but it didn't cost Law as much as it might have as you look at that scoreboard through 3 ends.
Bang on.
Well, maybe Julie Skinner can turn it around a little bit here.
Trying to drive this one that's frozen to the stone in the 12-foot straight back. Hoping to at least run the stone and the back 4 off.
Okay.
Just scoots by the side of it.
Ooh. Yeah, just over curl on her. Like if she made a shot, a good part about it, she could clip the red at the back and lie too, because she slid through the house, but just over curl a bit.
Control.
Fairly close, but that doesn't count, obviously.
I'm sorry, Guy, I'm just looking at a couple of the options here for Sherry Middaugh. She is lying shot in the back of the 4-foot. She could sort of corner guard that stone that's biting the top. She's electing to play the hit, which would open that stone up. What are your thoughts on this call?
Hurry, guys!
Yeah, it's always scary to leave the second shot this yellow is in. Well, I'm sure if it's a 2 inch short of the house, you probably would have guarded, but now it's in the house. You know, you don't want to give it, let's say you over curl in your guard and give it a chance to tap that red and give it a chance to kill a lot to score a deuce, what we call maybe a cheap deuce. You know, so she played a bit safer there, which is, I think it's a good call. You know. She did roll a bit too much, but it was a good shot.
Opens it up for Julie Skinner to remove the Middaugh stone in the back of the forefoot.
Yep. Where are we?
Skinner's final stone here in the fourth.
Close.
Kelly Law does have the hammer.
Close!
Whoa.
Yep, George trying to roll it a
They
little
got
bit.
it.
That was
A little bit of a roll.
They tried to tap it light softly and just rolled behind that corner guard. And she did
Play control
hit on a good side of the stone, but she needed maybe a
yours moved.
quarter of an inch more curl to get really buried behind that corner guard.
I think it's going to cross the center line.
Yeah.
The good part for Kelly here is the rock is behind the tee. Even she make a perfect roll behind the corner guard, she could always come and freeze back on her if she makes a perfect shot. So
Candace moves really hard.
Kelly is not too upset right now with the situation, having a corner guard and the rock behind the tee.
Down to skip stones in the fourth.
Good discussion. They feel that this rock will curl quite a bit. They just saw Julie play there. Sherry going to throw a little bit less weight.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, clean. Whoa. Whoa. Right off. Right off.
This one
Midaugh's
hanging.
first stone on the way.
Removes it from play. See if they talk a little bit about the weight. Sherry just trying to confirm whether she overthrew it.
Okay, that's good. Right about that. Yeah, that was good. Yep.
Once again, it could be the trouble to crossing the center line. You know, like, the weight might be perfect, but if it crosses the line a couple of feet earlier, you're gonna have that big swing going to the wing. But if you cross it too late, you're not gonna get that big swing. It's probably what happened in that shot.
You guys.
Now Kelly's got a very good situation for her. She could tuck that one berry in front of the tee line, obviously, because she can't slip behind the tee line. Otherwise, it's going to be the same situation for Middaugh. She's going to come and freeze on her. So.
First stone for Kelly Law. Chance for two with the hammer in four.
Line's
Lots
good.
of room.
Got a bend.
Communication is important here.
Let it curl.
The sweeper going to let the guy, the lady in the house know where is it, if you could sweep it or not. Because even if you bury it and bury it behind the tee, it's fairly useless.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just above tee, above tee, above tee, above tee. Good shot, Kelly. Great
Keep
shot.
it above the tee. They're ever so slightly
Nice
behind,
shot.
but well covered.
So about here.
Well, I think because of her spin, it ended up
so little.
Yeah.
Talking about her spin, meaning the amount of rotation that Kelly Law tends to throw on her stones will make her rock run a little bit straighter. Sherry considering her
What do
other
you guys like?
options.
Just corner freeze? Yeah, just back four weight, line only.
Just wants to sit right on top of that yellow stone, corner freezing it. Right there. It's perfect. Anywhere in front of it makes it a little bit difficult.
Easy for you to draw.
No, it's not, actually.
Whoa, whoa. Line's good. Close, yeah? Yeah, for line.
Final stone, Sherry Middaugh, fourth
Hurry
in.
for line. Hurry for line.
Looking to avoid a chance for two for Kelly Law.
Every inch, guys.
Middaugh had trouble with her draw for two. Settled for 1 and 3. She get by? No.
Whoa. To draw.
The weight seems to be good. It's just like a over curl on her, you know, like it's really a sensitive spot. Like we said, once again, it depends when you're going to cross that center line.
Yeah.
You probably would cross it too soon in the ice. You could have fixed a point when you're calling the line where you should cross the center line. As soon as you let go, it seems all right, but you move early on her, and
Your weight's really good.
yeah.
Hey, guys.
So Kelly Law with the hammer has her opportunity now.
She does indeed. Sherry Middaugh last end had the chance after a great shot, actually a pair of them by Janet Brown to score two, just came short. And so the advantage now goes to Kelly Law after a great draw on her first one. Sherry Middaugh ticks that front stone, and now the chance for 2 to take the lead for the first time in this game for Kelly.
Clean only.
Middaugh was in control.
No.
Blanking the first 2 ends, had her chance.
Clean.
Yep.
In number 3, and now it's Kelly Law looking for 2.
Clean. Clean. Nice shot.
They're happy with that.
2.
Count 2 yellow. Kelly Law moves out on top of Sherry Middaugh. We're at the Canadian Curling Trials.
What's Julie's shot
The roar
there?
of the
Like the one that
rings
she was raising?
in
That
Regina.
double? Yeah. She came out pretty.
Canadian Curling Trials continue live on TSN. And this is the game we're featuring in draw number 1. Sherry Middaugh of Ontario against BC's Kelly Law. Law coming back with 2 to take the lead at 2-1 as we play number 5.
Oh, I'm looking at it. We got a short one here. Oh, yeah. Okay, keep going, guys. Keep going.
Nice shot, Dad.
Shot. Thought we go short in.
16 and a bit between the dogs. Should be.
Hi, my name is Sherry Cortina. I'm from Unionville, Ontario, and I'm account coordinator with the Infield Marketing Group.
Line's a little tight.
Top 12.
Line's tight.
Born in Unionville, lives in Unionville. She's been curling for 14 years.
Top 8.
One assumes
pretty
in
good. Stay on it.
Unionville.
Yep.
Top 4.
Hurry.
We're actually nearby. I used to live in Unionville. I don't think there's a hospital in Unionville. Or
You used to live there.
yes, I've
Right, the
moved
better.
on a little bit, but
Nice shot, Sherry.
anyway,
Good shot.
she lives in Unionville for sure.
Hi, I'm Diane Nelson from Pitt Meadows, BC, and I'm an insurance broker with Coronation Insurance.
This team intact is a team that we've seen
Lots of
over the
lines.
years.
Line's good.
Wait them.
Was world champions and as the Canadian Scott Tournament of Heart finalists last year, losing on a measure to Colleen Jones, who did go on to win the World Championship. Colleen, of course, out here as well this morning.
Oh, no line, no line.
Kelly Law team together for 3 years as it stands here today, and qualified by winning
Nice shot, Doug.
the Scott Tournament of Hearts in Prince George.
Nice and short.
And you know, in fairness to Kelly, I should say at the top of the
Right
show,
here.
I talked about how much money that Sherry Middaugh has won this year, 25 plus. Right behind her in the money winnings is Kelly Law at some 20,000 plus as well. So great seasons. If you were to look at this in terms of
Same
a scouting
line,
report
little
and just
more.
base
Well
this
done.
year's performance
Stay
on
close.
who you would pick
Little
to win
more.
this,
Yeah.
you got to think the
Little
two of the
more.
favorites
Well
are on this
done.
sheet this
Stay
morning.
close. Yeah.
They both had tremendous years, each winning about 3 or 4 Bonspills each, and placing very well in others, and of course the finalists in the JVC Skins
that's
games
fine.
a couple weeks ago.
Both hot teams coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play a lot. They
Not
play
bad,
they
is
play
it?
as many speeds as they can.
Right in the middle of them.
Like everybody else, they got a tight schedule. They got kids and stuff like this. They wish they could play every weekend, but they can't. But they probably play like
like that.
6 or 7,
Wanna
8
raise this
spiel
one?
all together, and
Not bad
just to get ready for this big week. You know, like.
Yeah.
Wrap the yellow one.
Hey, George.
Hi, I'm Georgina Wheatcroft from Cloverdale, BC, and I work for RBC Financial Group.
How's the weight?
Georgina
Early.
has a little girl
Tight.
named Alex. She's 2 years old.
Line's good, yeah.
She's a full-time mother. She has a husband named Mark.
Right up, right up, right up.
They were trying to get around this Yellowstone. It's over curling.
Okay, okay.
Bump it a little bit. Bump it. Bump it.
It's a good shot.
See the Middaugh team does
Frog
lie
Rock is
one
a
in the
pig.
forefoot. Sherry looking at the angles that the opponent may have. It's not only about what you make, it's what you leave your opponent.
Yeah, she doesn't like the yellow in front of the house.
No.
Don't really like any angles. Do you like that? Okay. Firm weight.
Sherry doesn't
Right
like the
here.
guards up front because she does have last stone, and she doesn't like the fact that they're yellow, which is more importantly, which means that they are the Laws team and can run them back. So she's looking to remove the stone and roll in.
Hi, I'm Andrea Laws from Whitby, Ontario, and I work at Ontario Power Generation.
Hurry! Hurry!
Andrea won a Scott tournament in 1990 as the second for Allison Goring.
That's good.
Yeah, she removed one yellow, which she didn't like in front of the house, but she tried to get a bonus, tried it a bit thinner and get a ricochet off the red and slid into the house. She didn't do it. I think right from the start, they called her sweeping. She might have been tight a bit.
Here.
Give a chance to Kelly here to get rid of the red stone in the house, you know, and maybe light too.
It does indeed. What that shot did is not only did she not get the ricochet into the house, but it did open up her own stone in the 4-foot, and so Kelly feels this may be the chance that she needs to get at it, and she's asking Georgina to try to get rid of it.
Second stone for Georgina Wheatcroft.
Here comes.
Whoa!
Just leave it there.
That's good. She's
Nice
trying to
shot,
stick on the
Georgie.
side here.
Will it hang around?
Will indeed.
Yes. Over on sheet A, still a battle between Colleen Jones, Michelle Ridgway.
No.
Even now.
Think just a
Marie-France
double peel?
LaRouche and Fowley
Okay.
at 2-2. And the Sherrys continue their battle. It's 3-3
Half a
there.
rock here.
Sherry Fraser, Sherry Anderson.
She's going for the double peel, trying to leave the rock open in the house. She might get some action on the red stone and touch something, touch one of the yellow in the house too.
Clip it.
Whoa.
Andrea threw this pretty hard out of her hand and maybe flipped it back a little bit.
Okay.
Whoa.
Pretty fortunate there for sure. This isn't pool though, you don't have to call them, and so Andrea will take that. It's the breaks of the game. They work for you and they work against you.
Now's the skip when you do call it out there.
Almost
Pretty happy guy.
Almost make the double there. Like.
Yeah, it was almost.
She almost did make the double. She hits that rock just a little bit more.
Yep. Lots of room. Yep, for line.
And that's where mental toughness comes in. It's not only about physical preparation for events like this, but it's about mental preparation. You can lose your mind on a shot like that and think, geez, we were sitting in great shape. She should have missed everything. Or you can say it's gone, but you know what? We've got some rocks to go around. We can lie two.
83?
And you just got to play the game. And both of these teams are very, very tough.
Yeah, we've seen a few mistakes in this match this morning, without question. Possibly because of the pressure and overthinking things.
Hi, I'm Janet Brown from Keswick, Ontario, and I'm a tax manager with Ernst & Young.
Good. Line's good. Yep, for line.
Now that that stone is out, there's rocks in front.
Come on, guys,
You might be thinking, why isn't Sherry playing that stone that's out in the wings, the biter? It's because she doesn't care. She's got last rock, wants to score two, trying to get around.
Have to give it a bit more ice.
And not quite around,
Okay.
short. A little rub out front.
Yeah, you didn't sweep that, or a little bit? Okay.
Hi, I'm Julie Skinner from Victoria, BC, and I'm the travel manager at BCAA.
It's out there. Out there.
Couple of options for Kelly. One is just to draw around those pile that's building up there. What she's asked Julie to do, though, is to bump the stone right on the center line that belongs to them.
Gonna raise it in.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity here. Like she got a wall of stone in front of the house.
Okay.
Rubbed off the red stone, but
It's the right weight.
Took a little hook at the end.
Yep.
Also took away the straight back for Sherry Middaugh to raise the red stone with her shooter rolling.
Does have enough room to go through the hole. It's tight. It's got to be a tight. Yeah. Looks like she's gonna try it. If she get through that hole, she could sit in a really good situation, just hit it and flop behind the guards who are overlapping each other, so preventing raise takeout stuff like this. But
She's got this. If she happens, though, to hit
So
either
that
one of
might
these,
work.
red squirt, red
That
squirt.
should come here
Yep.
off that, and that might come here.
That's why these stones are really important. They all belong to Sherry Middaugh, so if they don't get through the hole, they've got some great options on their own rocks.
One hit about here, Janet.
Oh, just playing straight on there. Not even looking at the hole. Maybe the hole's not there, Guy. It's hard to tell. It's tight.
Last stone for Middaugh's third. Janet Brown here in 5.
Whoa. Whoa. Close. Yes! Hurry! Hurry! Quick! Hard on the shooter, Andrea.
Oh, nice shot. Squirts 2 through.
Nice shot.
Yeah, turned out pretty good.
And clears the Yellowstone of Kelly Law through the back. Still a biter for Law at 12.
A good point for Kelly, like those two reds roll really close to each other, give her a chance to...
Watch the way that she hits this. Now, this full credit to Janet for throwing it, but bigger one to Sherry Middaugh for seeing how she has to hit this. Hits at about a half, squirts that through, but also makes contact on the other yellow or red stone, moving it in. That's a huge shot and a big turnaround in this end for sure. Sherry's biggest fan, probably sitting in his hotel room waiting for his game later, husband Wayne Middaugh. See lots of angles with men, and we've talked a lot about the women and lining them up, and view that in this field it is probably Sherry Anderson and Sherry Middaugh who are the two best at looking at combination angles, how things come to pass.
Hi, I'm Kelly Law from Coquitlam, BC, and I'm a mother to Christopher and Cameron.
Yep. Whoa. Yeah!
And a winner at the Scott and at the world level, Kelly Law's first stone of the 5th end. Facing some problems here for Law.
Just missed the double.
There was a chance.
Just over a curl a bit. She cut the ice while she was in the hack, and just before she threw it, she asked for a little bit less ice and might have cost her the double. It's amazing how often we'll do that as a skip. You know, you take the ice, you're pretty sure you're confident you have the good ice, you go to the hand, and for any reason, like you decide to change your hand.
I've really done that.
Every time you miss,
your mind, have you?
Every time you miss, why did I do that?
Okay, we've never really taken ice out here, though, Janet.
I don't think it's going to curl huge. I think it'll be a little sticky.
Okay.
That's a great opportunity here for Sherry Middaugh to tuck one behind and have a chance for 3 if you could bury that one
coming
somewhere.
around the corner here?
It is for sure her only
Like coming around the corner
discomfort seems to be with what she needs to take for ice.
Well, I mean, it's fine.
Let's see what she says.
Middaugh missed her opportunity in the 3rd. Kelly Law came back with 2 and 4.
Not quite sure the weight, but even if we're back 8, that's fine.
Hi, my name is Sherry Middaugh. I'm from Victoria Harbour, Ontario, and I work at the Midland YMCA as a preschool program coordinator.
Little tight for line. Full 12, guys. Come on.
It's a huge shot for Sherry Middaugh, not only for confidence and getting her weight, but to really put some pressure. Her last attempt at a draw was light.
She missed in 3. Chance here in 5. And
just take the guard.
Light and take the guard out front.
She
So
would have been in
another
the
wasted
house.
opportunity.
It was not getting to the broom. Weight was good.
I think it's the 3rd time so
not
far in
getting
that
to the
game
broom.
that she's a bit, I would say a couple of feet light, maybe.
I know, but rubbing on too many guards. His weight was
If we
perfect
come
again.
in here, we could have given her a hit.
Oh, I know.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So.
Okay, guys.
You heard Sherry say she's just not getting out to the broom. If she throws that rock a little bit straighter and they don't tick, she's probably biting whether she's
Looking broom.
second shot or not. Frustration. Not because it was a bad shot. Sorry, I'm just going to talk about the swing difference, about being, you know, 2 behind guards and with last rock and maybe scoring 3. She's still lying 1,
Line's
but
good.
lots of chance for Kelly Law to take this end away from Sherry Middaugh.
Yeah, if Kelly makes a good draw here, she might have to make a good shot to score a point instead of having a free draw for 3 with stuff like that.
Here's Kelly Law's final stone. In the 5th.
Whoa.
Happy with
Oh,
the line.
just by the guard.
Whoa.
Nice shot, Kelly.
Will it go a little too deep? Well, she'll make Middaugh work for.
That's a good shot. Those going to force a Sherry Middaugh to take her one with a good shot, you know.
You're deep in there, baby. Yeah.
At that point, the main thing is to be in the house, bury somewhere. You know, you don't mind if you're back 12 or back 8. You know, obviously if you're top 4, it's even better. But the main thing here was to get Barry somewhere to force Sherry Middaugh to take her point.
Yeah, in front of the tee line would have been better, but it was a difficult shot to get it in there and force Middaugh to make a shot here.
They were going all the way out of her hand based on the line. They really wanted to make sure that she got by. If she ticks that top guard, she rolls across and just bangs the other guard. Did slide a little bit deep, but nonetheless, there's only a shot here for one.
Yeah, you talk about the Mantle side. There's one a good example here. Like, she just missed her last 2-3 draws, I would say, and now she got a draw against one stone. She got to make that one to make her to get her confident back on her draw.
Line's good. Lots of line. Full
Just
4.
for you guys.
We're looking for about 14.
Full 4, no backing.
14 and a bit would be great.
No backing.
Sherry Middaugh looking to get one. It could have been a better end, but this one might have a little too much juice. No. A little rub on the yellow stone at the back. And it hangs. So Middaugh takes one with her final stone in 5. For the Canadian curling trials, a 10-team round robin. It's all even as we head to 6. It's Middaugh versus Law.
The 2001 Canadian Curling Trials on TSN are brought to you by the all-new 2002 Toyota RAV4. You belong outside.
We're live at the Canadian Curling Trials in Regina. We're watching 10 great teams, 5 great games on draw number 1 at this 2001 Regina Roar of the Rings. Over on sheet B, 2-2 Marie-France LaRouche and Heather Fowley tied at 2. Fowley lying 1, and a chance for a couple here.
Heather made a fabulous shot on her first one, and this is not a slouch either. It needs a piece of the button.
Nice sweeping there. So give 2 to Heather Fowley for a 4-2 advantage. Over on sheet A, it's Ridgway on top of Colleen Jones now, 3-2. They're into the 6th end. Heather Fowley with a 4-2 advantage on Marie-France LaRouche after that shot there. The battle of the Sherrys continues. It's Anderson now leading Fraser 5-3, playing 6. Amber Holland has moved out in front of Kathy King on sheet D, 3-2. And we're all even in our feature match here this morning. Seesaw battle between Sherry Middaugh and Kelly Law. Draw number 2, 1:30 Eastern this afternoon on TSN. That's the matchup we'll see. Brier winners both. Jeff Stoughton from Manitoba, Randy Furby, who won last year in Ottawa, head-to-head as the men's competition gets underway in this second draw here at the Roar of Regina. The 2001 Canadian Curling Trials continue live in a moment. At the Canadian Curling Trials in Regina. No tougher competition in the world than what we'll see here this week with world champions and Scott champions and Brier champions on the ice all week long. The battle is on for 2 berths at the Olympic Winter Games in Salt Lake City, and it's going to be tough competition right down to the very end. I'm John Wells along with Guy Hemmings. Welcome to our commentating crew, Guy and Kathy Gauthier, live at the Agrodome in Regina. Having fun yet?
Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, it's a good game. First 2 hand were pretty defensive hand, you know, but now they got rocks in play. We've got some cue miss by both team, you know, to really go for the big hander. But Sherry Middaugh finally made a good draw on the last stone, so she missed a couple of draws earlier in the game that might have prevented her from scoring points. But with that draw now, she might get her confidence back as far as draw work is concerned.
A couple of errers for Sherry Middaugh, and Julie Skinner struggled a little bit. I guess that's the reason we're at 2-2 right now when you look at this game.
To me, that is the biggest difference, is that we've got a third for the Kelly Law team who is having a bit of a tough go this morning, who's a great player but not playing as well as we've seen her. But that is very much balanced by Sherry Middaugh's difficulty in finding the paint with her draw weight when she needs to. And so that's when you got a third of one team and a skip of another, they do balance each other out. And both teams could have had more points, but we are in a 2-all tie.
Good weight.
After 5 ends, here's how it stacks up. When you look at these two teams, all even in points.
Here's what you want to look at.
No steals, but
right there, that's the statistic. And I would suggest that when we break this down by player, the overwhelmingly lowest draw percentage would be Sherry herself, who has admitted it's not only been about weight, it's about hitting the broom to get around the guards. Otherwise, the teams are fairly equal, and that's why we're in a tie game.
Get a corner around, guys. Okay, nice shot, Di.
We actually do have 54% as a percentage for Sherry Middaugh. So when as a skip, you're only making about half of the draw shots you need to make. You're the player that really does make a difference whether the points go up on the board or not.
Yeah, those extra draws like give you extra point, you know, like if you make 1 out of 2, you know, it's really costly. You got to go for it. And when you had a chance to score a deuce, you had a chance to score a deuce in the third end, just came out short or over curl on her. She had a chance to lie 3 in the fifth end and still take the guard instead of forcing Kelly Law to make a really good shot.
For Sherry Middaugh, this is Andrea Law's.
Clean, clean.
Hammer belongs to Kelly Law here in 6.
Good shot.
And Laws removes the Kelly Law stone.
So basically, we played the first 5 end to give the hammer back to Kelly Law. Like, she didn't have the hammer the first 5 at the beginning of the game. It took her 5 end to get her hammer back. So it's a 5 end game with but she had the hammer this time. So.
Saw a little bit of indecisiveness with Kelly's feet there in the house. She was looking at, do I play the hit over here? Do we use the guard and go around it? The decision that she's made, and I think we talked about Kelly's style, which is usually in the back half of the game, the last 5, play really hard. She's indicating very much on the call here that that's what she wants to do. She wants to use the guard and not worry about banging a rock that's in the edge of the 12-foot.
Maybe.
Hopefully it's funnier to go. It's more interesting for a skip to go around your own guard. You know? In that case, it's a red guard, but I think she's going to go like she.
Even if you're up here, Andrea.
Both teams realize they're going to need to score points at one point in that game. You know, you're not going to run away, because especially with a 4 rock free guard zone, you can't protect a 1-point lead. So you got to go for a 2-hander, 3-hander if you have a chance, and guards in front of the house, you got to go.
Final stone in 6 for Middaugh's second. Andrea Laws.
Whoa, just for weight, lots of room.
Back 8.
For Andrea and her team, Sherry Middaugh, they did actually play in this facility earlier this year. The SGI Classic was held here. They were the winners of that event, one of the events that they won on the tour this year. So they played in the facility. That's the reason they did come out and play in this event. Wanted a chance to experience what it would be like. Nice weight indeed.
Happy with that.
Yeah, she would have wished to curl a bit more. We're come right on top of the yellow, because with a nice quiet weight, you might give a chance to Regina to just tap this one and flop over the other yellow and be in really good shape. So.
On the bottom side of the screen, if you look at the left side, what you'll see, those stones that are in place. Colleen Jones throwing the yellow stones, has an angle raise to score 3 in a game which she currently trails by 1. This would give her a 2-point advantage if she's able to make the shot.
That's all the raise takeout we talk about. You got to do those ones.
So here it is, Colleen Jones looking for an angle raise, an opportunity to break this open.
Nicely done.
There it is. Count 3.
The most underrated player and team in this event.
Thank you.
Even as the reigning world champion.
So 3 for Colleen Jones over on sheet A, and a little trouble for Michelle Ridgway as Jones picks up 3.
Line's good. Clean it. Line's
back on our
sheet,
we see these rocks piling up. We saw Kelly Law go around that center guard. Because it slid behind the tee line, Sherry's squad came right back down on top of it. Kelly Law tried to come back on top of it, was in the 8-foot, and so Sherry said, that's fine, I'm lying shot, I'm going to now guard it.
She has no choice now. She's got to open it.
Kelly Law has the hammer. Julie Skinner.
There's some stats that we're not used to seeing out of Julie. She's usually a very strong contributor to this team. Some days it's just a little bit of a struggle.
I think at 65%, she's brought that up from the early ends where she had a little more difficulty.
That's a good shot. That's the purpose of that shot, opening the front.
That's great.
I don't think they care too much about that red rock rolling in the
Like
house.
up top again?
It's not a factor in that end.
Not really.
Middaugh with a shot stone. Kelly Law has the hammer.
Don't really like that. I don't mind up top. Guard, okay.
That's a 2 option here, guarding or hitting this yellow.
Earlier in the game, we saw Sherry play a similar stone to this, but she removed it from play, rolled over.
That was more because you overcut. Okay.
I think in that situation, if you decide to hit and roll too much, like the Law team will have a chance to hit that red and lie too.
And lie too.
That's why she decided, or that's her turn to decide to be aggressive, even though she doesn't have the hammer.
Good, little
Janet
tight.
Brown has had a nice morning thus far, curling 93%.
Huge numbers.
Line's good. Clean it.
Not only big numbers, but key shot too, like especially in the third end.
Set. We're going to overcut. Whoa.
Oh,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
absolutely. I mean, I can think of 2 huge shots that Janet, well, I can think of 3. Both of her stones in 3 where she made that fabulous double on the first and tried to make the double, but made the great hit and roll in the second one. Then again in the 5th end, the last end, another great shot by Janet. She has come to play.
Because we hit the one in the
Well, and she set Sherry Middaugh up in 3, and that was the costly error.
Clean.
Middaugh settling for 1 there instead of a free draw for 2.
Shot.
Removes the front.
Shot.
Not too worried about removing that stone from play. Kelly Law shooting yellow.
What's that?
Has last stone.
No.
I was surprised to decide to peel the guard with the out turn instead of going with the in turn, because
Maybe a
you
little
had a
less.
chance you could have jammed that red. It
left,
turned out
Janet.
pretty good for the Law team, but let's say she hit the stone a bit thicker, she might roll in the
like
house
this?
in a bad situation for her. So if she would have decided to play the
halfway, as long as
peel
line
on the
is
in
good.
turn, there's no rock in the left side of the house. But I guess she felt more comfortable throwing that peel that
Left,
side.
Janet.
Down to Skips Rocks here in 6.
Shot stone belongs to Sherry Middaugh, trying to protect that stone now with the guard. And she does not have last rock.
That's a good situation, because even if she doesn't throw the guard, like for example, let's say she missed her guard, it's still a tough shot for the Law team to
Line's
get
good.
access to that redstone, and there's no other rock in front of the house that could be used by the Law team to
clean.
play a race takeout like we just saw Colin Jones did
clean.
on a couple of minutes ago. Like when did
Whoa,
no yellow stone in front of the
whoa.
house, you don't have to worry about the race takeout, so you
Whoa,
could be more
whoa,
aggressive and
whoa,
throw the
whoa.
guard. And
That's good. Good rock.
Nicely done.
Bring it back, but
What was called for is delivered.
yeah, I know. But if it's dangerous, it is. I don't run it back right. You can always do this.
Yeah. You try that on your last one, though. Like the intern peel or the draw?
that's a decision time here, like what you gonna do with that.
the guard again. Whatever you like.
Throw the peel. Peel the guard.
I think so.
Decide
the
to peel.
invert.
She could have decided to go in the house and try to be shot right on top of this red.
Talked about doing this. They
Yeah.
don't make it. They think it's tough, and so they're just going to do the straight peel. And they'll worry about if all they've got is a draw to the button on her last shot, well, then that's what she'll play. I know, Guy, you're just rolling back here,
Okay.
stressed out.
Yeah, what is the consensus? Is this the call that you like, Kathy?
Well, not if you want to score 2.
Yeah, at what
That
point?
wasn't the question.
I know that's the answer.
Yeah,
What about you, Guy?
I think I would have drawn that one, because she'll have to draw the next one, so we may as well do it right now. And if you do it perfectly, she might have a chance to score 2. So in a couple of minutes from now, she'll have to draw the same shot that we talked about, and it's going to be only for 1, or maybe tap it for 2, but it's going to be a way tougher shot.
Law looking to peel.
Right over.
Dog. Guard, and they get the job done. Now, we don't have dissension up here in the booth, but we do have a difference of opinions already, and it's only draw number 1 and number 6.
It's tough decision. You know, you have to decide. You know, you're going to draw last stone at one point in a couple of minutes from now, and what you're going to leave yourself with. You know, like the peel was looks like a good shot
Same
because
thing?
now it's open. But
Taking just
I
a
don't know,
smidge more
you can
ice.
expect that Sherry Middaugh is going to miss his guard now, or guard right now. Well, she's going to guard again, so you'll have to do that shot. So why not try with your first stone and do it perfectly?
To play the devil's advocate, which is known as Kathy Gauthier's opinion,
And you do it so well.
the advantage of clearing the guard is I think that for Kelly, she's thinking, I want to have a shot on my last one. If she plays the draw,
Line's a little tight,
you're right. If she
guys.
makes it gi, there's maybe a chance for 2. It's a very small
Let it sit.
draw sort of pocket. And
Let
if
it
she
sit.
doesn't make it, she may not have any sort of combination. So
Whoa!
having seen Kelly play a lot, I'm not
Whoa,
surprised
guys,
at the call, but I do absolutely
Whoa!
see your point. There's no way to score 2,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
and she's going to have to make this shot now.
Yep.
Middaugh's final rock replaces the guard that was moved moments ago by Kelly Law.
She didn't like it, the rock before. We'll see if she like it right now.
If you stick it, we're shot. If you hit that one 3/4 right on there. The yellow, right through the hole. It's not bad either.
She's
See,
looking
that-
at
that's-
this race takeout now.
Nope.
That's what I was surprised a bit when she made the peel and she said roll that rock
Roll
out.
it right over.
Yeah,
I
would
think
have-
there's
Across the
better.
top, we get
As
2.
long as it's open the shot rock
pretty
or
tough,
the
but
rock on top of the house, I would have tried to keep it more in play and give her a bit of
Yeah,
angle.
if
Let's
we
say if
put
you
the
didn't roll
across
that
the
far,
top.
she might have
Yeah.
a bit of angle to play that race takeout for 2.
2/3 or is this? Whichever. What do you like?
For 3?
No, we got the full button
For
here.
1.
Let's try that.
It's really how you feel about the shots coming in there. Obviously, I think you got to think about percentage. I think it's the chances of making that draws are better than making that race takeout.
It's
because
a tough,
around that
tough
top 8
angle.
rock.
I think if it roll a bit less, that guard roll a bit less, let's say a foot less, get closer to the red line, might be easier to play a race takeout. But now rolling that far,
4.5?
she'll leave herself much choice than drawing to the pin.
No, if the yellow stone that's in front of the house doesn't roll as far, it's still a tough shot, but it means that the angle doesn't have to be as fine.
Yeah.
Kelly Law makes this. It will be the shot of the
Line's
game.
good.
So far, tied at 2.
Oh, for line.
Final stone. In the 6th
Line's
end.
pretty good.
Looking for about 14 plus.
Line's good.
Stay with it, guys.
Line's good.
Also got a curl. They got to
Line's
worry
great.
about line.
Hurry, for
Weight's
Coming
really
down.
good according to the clock.
Coming now. Can they drag it in? Hurry!
Oh, nicely done.
One yellow.
That's why she waited for her second one, Dee.
She could have done it in the first one. She could have scored 2.
Nice shot.
There you go. She likes the shot. She takes the lead. Settling for 1 for Kelly Law.
In-turn quarter river rock.
Leading Sherry Middaugh. We're at the Canadian Curling Trials
I
live from
saw those
Regina.
other draws warp.
Regina 2001, the roar of the rings, the Canadian Curling Trials. Key shots as we've watched this match between Sherry Middaugh and Kelly Law. It comes in the 6th end. Final stone for Kelly Law.
You know, as a skip,
Line's good.
your ability to be able to
Oh,
put a draw
nice.
shot wherever you need it
Line's
is
pretty
really the
good.
biggest tool you have in your arsenal. And Sherry struggled with it
Line's
today.
good.
Kelly's first
Stay with it,
really big
guys.
test
Line's
key
good.
was to draw to the pinhole.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the sweeper, the good communication between the sweeper and Julie in the house. And we talked at the beginning of the show how this front end was good sweeping. That's a good proof right here. They put it perfectly on the pin.
Beauty, Kelly.
Key shot, they loved it all the way.
Just one rock too late.
He still wanted it to be the key shot. Take it with your first stone when you've got the hammer. However, they'll settle for 1. Free to advantage.
Yep, finish it.
Hammer belongs to Sherry Middaugh as we start 7.
Good weight, Sherry.
And consistent with what we have seen this entire game, Kelly goes right in the house with her first one, and consistent with what we have seen from Sherry Middaugh, she ignores it and calls for the corner. This is what we're now seeing back and forth, back and forth.
Steer, guys.
Reason for that is Sherry Middaugh likes lots of
12.
rocks in play, never wants to score just one,
Coming
always
down.
wants to at least have a chance for 2.
It's coming down quite a bit.
Well, no, just here, not in.
Kelly wanting to guard that stone that's now
Yep.
only in the 12 foot, but feels it's her way of generating some offense.
Nice shot, die. It did come down, eh?
Sherry
Slide.
Cordina Diane Nelson, the leads. Here's how they've compared thus far this morning.
That's fine. We're just doing
Substantially stronger numbers for Diane. I think that when we recall the earlier ends for Sherry Cordina, Sherry Middaugh trying to generate offense, and Sherry's rocks that slid in the house would have been scored very low because that was not the intent, and really did change how the front end set up those ends.
So right now we're seeing like it's probably the biggest difference as far as 3-rock or 4-rock free guard zone. Like because on the 3-rock free guard zone, she would probably try a hit on the yellow in front of the house, try to kill the one in the house in the same time. But now she could kill the rock in front. She could have played the one in the house, just tap it out, you know.
That's it. Good throw.
On the 3-rock free guard zone, she would have played a double and tried to control the front of the house. But now she can't do that. She can't hit the yellow. That's probably where the biggest difference is as far as strategy is concerned. Like,
for sure.
Kelly Law's second, Georgina Wheatcroft.
Whoa. Okay, shot.
It's a little roll into the 8. Middaugh has the hammer.
There's a chance for you. For Adrios to hit this yellow rock and roll behind the guards and still be in front of the tee line. That would be a keystone right here.
Watching those scores roll across your screen. Everything is very close here in draw number 1.
As expected, when you've got tremendous teams playing tremendous teams, you would be surprised if there would be blowouts at this competition.
No roll.
In our feature match, it's Kelly Law by a 3-2 advantage on Sherry Middaugh. Middaugh with the hammer here in 7.
Kelly will take a good look at that.
Seconds.
Georgina Wheatcroft, probably one of the best all-around players that there are. She is very, very strong at the hit game and at the second position you need to be, but she's also played third. She's won a world championship before, playing for Pat Sanders out of BC. Great numbers for Georgina. These numbers for her will only get better as the week goes on.
And she was the All-Star second a year ago, or at least at the last Scott Tournament of Hearts in Sudbury.
Hard. Hurry. Shot.
Nice shot, nice hit and roll here. A good point for Sherry Middaugh's team is behind the tee, so she's probably going to ignore it and try to go behind the guard in front of the tee. She needs to create a situation to get her 2s or 3 to get a control back of this game, you know, because now, even it's only 1-point situation, the game is so close. Like you got to think that Kelly Law's going to control the game by having that point lead.
Saw Andrea's numbers at 69%. She has continued to bring her game up. Started a little bit slow, had some struggles early on, but she's a tough cookie and has just put the first part of the game out of the way and has continued to play better and better.
No.
It's a bit strong on her draw here. And
yeah, they didn't want to take it back that far. Want to be in front of the tee line.
It didn't swing as much as she expected, but if she has a good draw weight, you would have curled way more, you know.
Here? Control, guys.
So for Kelly wanting to remove that stone and use those 2 guards, roll behind there. It's behind the tee line. It's going to be behind the tee line, so you might as well use some of the cover.
Third Julie Skinner for Kelly Law's team.
It's always a tough choice as a skip when you're deciding if you want to hit and stick. See, this stone stick in the house, you're going to force someone to score a point in that end by lying a couple of shots in the house, but they're behind the tee. Right now, I think this yellow is more useful for Middaugh's team than it is for Kelly Law. So it's always a bad situation when you have to hit a rock behind the tee line because you're not ever sure if you want to stick
really
or not.
Want to be there or not.
Where are we?
Because you know right from the start, no matter where you're rolling, she's going to draw on top of it. You know?
Hurry!
Sherry Middaugh's third, Janet Brown.
Well then, right off. Okay, line's good.
They were yelling early to go hard.
Finish it then if you can.
I think that they thought maybe it was going to go a little bit harder out of her hand. She's had great weight.
Here's the curl. And nicely covered.
Freezes.
Here's how the third stack up thus far today.
Key matchups all week. Tremendous numbers for Janet Brown. Anytime as a third, you're shooting over 90%. Your skip is in really, really good shape.
Julie Skinner is battling back, though.
She is.
That's an improvement over the early going at 71.
Like Andrea Laws, both of those players had started really slow, just a little bit, you know, maybe tentative, maybe trying too hard, maybe too much adrenaline, but both of them have settled down and are in fact bringing up their numbers, as you say, John.
Now this really does sound like the roar of the rings. Julie Skinner's shot.
Nicely done.
And she plays it beautifully.
Sweeping. Sweeping man.
This rock is better. It's front of the tee now, so now she just take the 2 yellow at the back of the house out of play. Even if she puts another rock halfbury now, she would be able to play a hit on it. Even if she jam on the yellow at the back, she's still going to be light too. So that was a key stone.
Same line, a little bit more.
Not only to remove the shot rock, but to stay in the house, to be second shot in front of the tee.
And behind a guard.
Yep.
Janet Brown for Sherry Middaugh. They're working this one all the way.
Gotta go hard
Will
to
they
get
get
it
it around?
by.
No.
Whoa!
Just
whoa.
Whoa!
Nicely done.
Very nice shot.
That's a good shot. This one is fully buried.
Yes.
And it's in front of the tee line, leaving Kelly just the run back. But again, for Kelly, the advantage is with Julie not only making the great shot, she'll have to shoot her there, so Kelly's running one of her own stones back.
Through 6, the numbers on the skips. Sherry Middaugh struggled early.
Not bad numbers, but if you look at the number that Sherry Middaugh is struggling with, you won't be surprised to see that that is in the draw department.
Kelly Law at 85% overall.
So that's what we talked about earlier. Race takeout. That's the name of the game now with this 4 rock figure zone. You got to do those. Julie Skinner made the first one. You got to do it again.
Whoa!
First down for Kelly Law in 7. Hammer belongs to Middaugh.
Shot.
Nice shot.
Well played. And 3 yellow stones remain.
That's usually a good sign for the sweeper when both ends yelling yes off, yes oh.
I'm like,
so you know you're close. She would have liked to curl a bit more.
She was yelling whoa at the end, but in defense of the front end, what they hear is just blah, like white noise out there, and there's a huge crowd assembled. It's pretty hard to know whether the blah is yeah or whoa.
a little bit more, Janet.
So the hammer belongs to Sherry Middaugh. Shots in the end have belonged to Kelly Law and company. They've made some nice ones.
Yeah, two good race takeout back to back, but still a good chance for Sherry. She could duck that one behind. She'll have to do it one more time. You know, that's it.
She's got her guards up there. She's got 3 stones that she's facing that aren't hers, but they're not in the 4-foot. Only one is in the 8-foot.
No.
So
and Middaugh has the hammer. Here's her first stone.
She seems a bit more outside than Janet Brown was on her draw.
Whoa. Lots of line.
They like the line.
Whoa.
Draw weight still elusive for Sherry Middaugh.
I don't think we got it.
Yeah, we're shot. We're surprised with that. That's one that glides.
They believe it to be the shot stone, but it's a little deeper than they would have liked.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, that would give Kayla a good chance here to try to draw herself and go on top of the house. Put lots of pressure on Sherry's last stone.
You know the weight.
Able to throw this rock with a lot of confidence. She knows draw weight. We saw that in spades last end. Knows that she already lies 1. Chance to get that rock in there better. Make it tougher. She's going to want to be in front of that tee line.
She made that her last out turn draw really good. So she's probably really full of confidence. She's going to put it on top of the house right now.
That's perfect right there.
Kelly Law has really made Sherry Middaugh work for all her points today, and she set it up again here. To the final 2 stones to come here in the 7th end. Law with a 1-point lead at 3-2.
Line's good.
A little late.
Where are you? Yes, for line.
Hard for line.
Hurry for line.
Got to get it by, otherwise it's an open hit for 2.
We're by.
They've got it. They say they're by.
Nice
now
shot,
get it to stop.
Nice shot.
Kelly Law has made some really fine shots
It's a little too much, eh?
in her first drop. They're a little deeper than they would have liked, I suppose, but still pretty nice, Key.
Yeah, it's a bit like a last hand now. It's Sherry Middaugh's turn to try a hot turn draw to the pin, you know, like Killa saying, I made mine last hand, so could you do it too?
A little bit more. Okay, straight 2-line white. Yep.
She got a bit more room than Kelly had in last hand, though. It's more just a weight shot. Kelly had to go a rock on top of the house, top of the 8-foot. This one's more open.
You buried it.
So just drew a draw right there, so it should be feel good about the ice and about the weight, you know, just a couple of feet less and should be all right.
Lots of line.
Sherry Middaugh's final stone.
Whoa for line. Lots of line, T-line, yeah.
Facing a Kelly Law counter.
Just for weight. Whoa for line. Just
In a close game here at the Canadian Curling Trials.
No line.
Sweepers on and off.
No
it gives you a
line.
sense it's close.
Has she got the draw weight now?
She sure does.
Has it this time.
One red.
Good shot.
One red.
One red. Middaugh picks up one with the hammer. In 7, we're all even. It's the Canadian Curling Trials, a 10-team round robin with a couple of Olympic berths on the line before next weekend. Welcome back. Canadian Curling Trials continue. Here's an update from Sheet C, 7th end. Fraser and Anderson, the battle of the Sherrys, even at 5. Here's Anderson's final stone.
She has a shot for 1 if she plays the in-turn, but she chooses to play this one, the in-off for 3.
Oh, that's close.
It's close.
Just a bit thicker.
Contact there.
No cigar.
So a steal of 1 for Sherry Fraser at 6'5" there. Over on Sheet A, Ridgway staying close to Colleen Jones after the big 3 and 6 for Jones. Fowley leading LaRouche. It's 4-3. We just showed you that, and the update is 6'5" there. And another close one as Kathy King has the lead on Amber Holland. 4-3.
Back 4. No.
And over on Sheet E, right next door, it's Middaugh and Law. Seesaw battle all morning long, even at 3.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we saw a nice draw around the center guard by Diane Nelson, just on top of the house. Sherry Cordina tried to corner freeze on it, or freeze on it, just a couple of feet too long, and give a chance to kill it to hit this one and roll on the side, and lie too.
We saw some fabulous shot making last end. Saw a great run back by Julie Skinner. Saw a great run back by Kelly Law. We saw some great draws, including the one made by Sherry Middaugh for the point. This would suggest to us that these players are now feeling really, really comfortable with the ice and are showing us the kind of shot making that we expected to see from them and other teams during the course of this week. First game's always the toughest, I find, in any of the competitions. I don't know about you, but I always kind of was just waiting to get out there, and then you get out there and you're not as aggressive maybe as you would normally be because you don't know the ice, and it's a tough game to play.
Yeah,
what do you like?
Actually, what you like is do your first game and play well. Just make a good couple of good shots. Like we see, both teams make good draws now. They were confident about their draw weight. Make a couple of race takeout right on the beak and make it good. So you know you could be more aggressive to that because you know you have that shot in your back pocket. You know.
Competition like this, you're not going to win every game during the week, and as you said, I think it's well pointed out that you may lose early in the competition, but if you play well and you stay close, you've still got the confidence you can win in the next draw.
You bet.
Whoa, whoa. No, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Andrea Laws.
Take it to the side.
No, we're
in a 3-3 game, Sherry Middaugh and Kelly Law.
Nicely thrown by Andrea.
And she's had a nice morning. Later today, the Vanier Cup and Kathy Gauthier, class of what at the University of Manitoba?
I'm not talking about any classes.
Well, I just was setting you up.
Started me with the old Buffalo. I'm not even.
Well, it's St. Mary's in Manitoba. And Kathy Gauthier, class of 1 year or another there, Guy. I'm not sure. We'll be cheering for her Bisons this afternoon on TSN. Hope you enjoy a little Vanier Cup football action as well as lots of curling here from the Canadian Curling Trials in Regina.
This is one of those weeks where you want to do a big grocery shop yesterday and just stay on the couch all day long.
That's what I do every week.
I know. You and half the other male population.
I'm thinking that's what Vic and Ray and Linda are doing right now. I'm just going to say about Kathy down the way there, Geet. As a rookie last year, she would have fallen for that class of 92 or 72 or 62 line. But this year...
62.
She's too smart for me.
That didn't take long either. So pretty clean house. Just moving those rocks over. There still is that one guard belonging to Sherry Middaugh that both teams will probably try to use.
Yeah, we saw Georgiana on the first stone hit and roll out to give a chance to Sherry Middaugh to hit that stone and lie one instead of losing their 2-point chance. They were lying 2 before Georgiana hit and roll out. But now she'll have to try to hit and roll behind the guard.
Clean's fine. Okay.
They keep it clean.
Nice shot.
And not much roll.
Janet. Okay.
8-10 is a key hand, you know, because it's a tie game now. Kelly Law's got the hammer. You got to make sure you don't give a steal here. She might play a bit more conservative. Make sure doesn't give a point. Even if she score a point, that means that she keep the hammer in even hand. That's a pretty good situation. Even if Middaugh's teams come back with a deuce in the night, you're still coming back one down with. So it's a pretty good situation. Make sure the Middaugh's team doesn't steal. That's probably our thought process right now.
They're not going to get the roll. Oh, maybe they will.
Okay, that's good.
Not behind the guard. They moved it over a little bit, but not perfectly behind.
Forward.
So it's open on the other side of the house.
Forward.
On the other hand, like Sherry Middaugh might be not too upset about blanking that hand, you know, trying to force Killa to score one in the night and come back with the hammer in the last hand. So it's always like well, you got to think about it. It's getting late enough in the game. You got to figure it out where I want to hammer and what I want to do with it.
It's true, and there is that age-old debate about when you play the 3-guard zone, whether you want to be one up without or one down with, and what people feel the most comfortable with. With the 4-guard zone, protecting a slight lead is really, really difficult. And being tied up without last rock, if the 4-guard zone is actually used, you're probably at the advantage of throwing first.
Yep.
So you're right, it is about positioning. Both of these teams have highly skilled coach. Gene Friesen for the Law team and Pat Reed for Sherry Middaugh's team, and they will have gone through all those scenarios and know exactly what style of play that they will be starting to think about, as you say right now, Guy. Where do we want to be in the 9th? Where do we want to be in the 10th?
Yep.
Yep.
So you can see now, like, because she's probably thinking the same way we're thinking. She doesn't want to blank that hand, so she'd go around the guard instead of trying to hit the run. Looks fairly easy at the back of the house. They're being hitting it, trying to roll behind the guard, so they're not been successful. So now they say, hold on a second, we're going to blank that hand, which is not too good for us.
No.
So let's try to be more aggressive and go with a good draw behind the guard. They know that path, like the same path that Kelly made her draw in the 6-10. So should know the path to bury that stone pretty good with a good weight.
Kelly Law
Getting tighter.
with the hammer in 8. This is Julie Skinner's final shot. So after this, we're down to skip stones. Julie Skinner. I want it to sit right about there.
Keep on the inside.
Down to it, eh? Got lots of rock in there.
Over on sheet A, it's Michelle Ridgway at the Cali in Regina against Colleen Jones, the defending Scotland world champion. Yellowstones for Jones.
Last time we brought you over here, Colleen was playing an angle raise for 3.
Got it.
She certainly did. She's still in, not making a dramatic shot like that, but she's in trouble again. She's facing 2 and needs to get right to the lid.
Yeah, she needed a takeout, no, she needed a draw. So
Jones has the lead.
Whoa! Curl up,
and Ridgway has her in a little difficulty here as we watch this live on sheet A.
Okay, no bump.
Looks good enough.
Well, that took its good old time, didn't it?
So Jones
blind time.
says it took a little time to get there.
Whoa.
She'll take the point.
Good. Whoa!
6-4 advantage there on A.
Line 3.
3-3 right across the Agrodome.
Sherry
Ice
Middaugh
surface here.
Come on, guys.
very much wanting to force this in.
Quick. quick.
She could have elected to play a tap on this, elected to play the freeze.
the other side.
Julie Stone has slipped a bit too far, so she just tried to freeze on it. He put her in a really good situation for a steal, you know. And like we mentioned earlier, a steal in that 8-hand would have been could have been really a key point in that game. But she came just a couple of feet short.
It's not too bad though. Trying to close the hole for the chances for 2 points to go up on the board.
It's not a bad zone at all because now Kelly can protect both sides. She can.
No.
So she decided to protect the same side she just threw, but that's going to leave Middaugh the other side just to play a small tap on it.
And it's all possible on this ice. We talked at the top of the show in reading the ice about the tremendous movement, the 4.5 to 5 feet. That guard that's in front of the house is very long. It's a good 10 feet, 12 feet in front of the house. So even though, as you look at it on your TV sets at home, it looks like it's buried, and it is, a tap to get shot is possible all day.
Yeah, this guard has no defense against the back line weight or even a hack weight. So.
And they got this one. It's Kelly Law's first shot.
Hurry.
Hit 8.
Right up.
She'll have the hammer.
That's fine. Good shot, Kelly.
Sweeping.
And a little protection there for the Law counter.
Good shot. Even if we're up here, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as we don't set up an easy double. Okay, so both here then.
Must admit I'm a bit surprised with that call. I thought she would go and just tap his red a bit. I guess she's not confident she could have enough movement from the other side. But if she come and just tap this red to the pin and stay in front of it, you know, as long as you don't remove the yellow at the back, you won't set up yourself.
Just try and corner freeze.
She's electing to play this way. What Guy and I have been talking about is that if she comes down here, she taps it a little bit, even if she's not shot, really closes the door to score 2 points.
I guess she's afraid of leaving herself in a position that Kelly could make the double after that and score a 3-hander.
Because I don't think she can get shot this way, can she? Second shot? Yeah. Time? Time?
2 timeouts allowed.
There we go. Stop.
Both teams have lots. They both have an excess
shot
of
with the outturn. And it is coming around one of
21
theirs.
minutes.
Lots of time, yeah.
And it's really important, especially in the latter parts of the ends, that you really look at all of the options available.
Just thinking.
We hear what they have to say.
What about the tap with the outturn?
Yeah, Sarah.
Because Guy and Kathy said.
Yeah, because I mean, she's still got the outturn draw.
Are they listening to you? Here's what we've got on the next draw. Draw 1 for the man. It's Stout versus Furby. 1:30 Eastern on TSN today. You've waxed both these guys in your day, haven't you, Guy?
Oh, they wax me often too.
The outturn, I think, is more there than the intern, right? That's a different side.
Coach Pat Reed at the boards.
She doesn't have much risk, though.
Because even if she hits.
Great draw down and make a bump, that's right. Still won't leave her much.
No.
Even if you freeze to her face.
Yeah.
I think she's got to draw this way.
Yeah.
I don't think she's got much long, so she can bite.
Well, she threw that in the.
Yeah. But our rock is.
Which way? For her. Yeah, I like the
off
little
for
bump.
4.
Okay, T-line weight. Okay.
Okay, here we go. They came back with that shot. We talked earlier about the bump in the red shot. You know, like once again we come back with the same situation. It's the 8-end. If you have a chance to play a shot that give you a chance to steal in the 8-end and take a 1-point lead on the even end, I think you got to go for it. You know, if it would have been like 6-10 or 4-10, it might have been different. But now I think the situation forced the strategy a bit. You know, you got to call that shot and take a chance. Maybe you got to have a set up in a really bad angle to give a shot for 2, but you got to be really unlucky. If you bump this one and freeze it on the yellow, the chance how you're going to steal and could change that game around, turn that game around.
And you guys can sweep it if it's got line.
Middaugh looking to set up the opportunity to steal. Obviously, the later in the game we go, the more important the shots become, but this is her most important shot of the morning.
And they know the ice there, like, because they saw Kelly Law throw a draw out there like in a hand before, so it's not like sometimes
Line's great.
The knowledge of the ice, you say, maybe we're not sure about the ice, let's play their shot.
Whoa! Close!
You do, and that's the importance of having everyone on your team watching the ice and watching the stones. Sherry was just sort of fixated on playing one side. Took a very good time out.
Here's Middaugh's final stone.
That's still a great shot. It's not shot, but makes it tougher for Kelly Law.
Oh, perfect weight. That's pretty
No,
risky.
I don't think so.
There's nothing there.
Yes, just not as
Double
happy
fairway.
as
We already got
she
one.
might be with the shot, but it does
check
make
it
it
away.
difficult for Law, obviously.
Yeah, she need to curl a bit more because now they might have a slight
Don't really
chance
have
to
a
hit the
shot for
red
two.
just half nose and
We don't have a shot
kill
for
two
two.
red and still count two with his shooter and the one on top of the house.
Choosing to throw this rock into the boards.
Oh, there's a red there. Sorry, I didn't see the red at the back.
They
I
don't
gotta
like
move a
the
bit.
options. Their concern is this rock right here. That is their stone. So any sort of double, this yellow one jams right on the back one. They don't want to give up points as much as you always like to score two. Sometimes you got to say, I'll just take my one and move right on.
Two is virtually impossible, so Kelly Law will fire this one through. And take one.
One yellow.
And a 4-3 advantage. One for the yellow. 4-3 Law leading Middaugh. As we head to number 9. It's a great opening match at the Canadian Curling Trials. The Roar of the Rings, Regina 2001. Welcome back. It's the Roar of the Rings, Regina 2001. 20 teams, 2 Olympic berths in Salt Lake City. On the line in 9 days of great curling. We're watching Sherry Middaugh and Kelly Law. Law has the lead 4-3 after being forced to take one in 8. So there's where we are right now.
Got some room.
We talk about curling
Top
being a
8,
chess
top
game
12,
on ice,
top
and
12.
never more
Okay,
so
lots
than
of
in
room
these
now.
last couple of ends. We talked a lot
Line's
about the
good.
approach to the 8th, given that there was
No,
only
line's
1 point
good.
that's
Whoa,
gone up.
room.
Sherry
Whoa,
Middaugh's got
whoa,
last
whoa.
rock. Many
Whoa.
would say that you try to
Here we
blank
go.
this end or score at least 2.
That's good. Whoa, whoa, not too deep. That's good.
Sherry Middaugh struggled with the hammer in the early going.
So we're back to the 9th strategy now, like in Kelly Law's mind, somebody's got to score. No matter who it is, somebody's got to score. Obviously, she's not trying to give a
Whatever you
3,
like.
but even she
Okay.
give a deuce here, she's not too upset about
No.
it because she'll be one
She
down
does.
with the hammer. On the other hand, like Sherry Middaugh's got to make sure if she score, she's going to be at least 2 because she don't want to go home tie game without the hammer. So it's a mouse and cat game now. Who's going to go for it? We could have seen Sherry Middaugh go on the open side on that hand. Some team will do that, go on the open side, force her to hit and stuff like this.
Hard for line, she said.
Where's the weight?
Where is it?
Weight's good. Top 12.
Line's good.
No, it's
Right
right.
here, guys.
Gotta go.
Yep, to it.
It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there.
Whoa,
It's there.
whoa, 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 whoa.
It's there.
The screen that you
Shot, nice
see on the
shot.
left is
Sweetie.
the game that we're going
Not there.
to have a little bit of
Make sure it's
attention
there.
on right now. Heather Fowley is sitting in the hack with her last stone.
Nice shot, Doug.
Heather is lying 3 on Marie-France's last stone. She tried to raise her only guard that was red in front of the house back. Didn't quite make the angle right. This is for at least 3 points, possibly 4. Would put Heather up either by, well, do the math, 8-5 or
LaRouche
7-5.
has the
Somebody
lead at
help me with-
5-4
Easy, easy.
Did I mention I'm an English major?
Okay. Line's
at the
good.
University of Manitoba, no doubt. Class of, we don't know. And there you go for Heather Fowley. There's 3 for sure. A measure for the 4th, so she does get 4 now. Is the
That was a quick measure.
yeah very
I was waiting
They're
for the
very quick here
yardsticks
this
to
week.
come out.
yeah.
Don't make a mistake in the morning.
That's a big 4. Like a 4-ender in any end is always tough in the game, but when you give it in the 8-ender, in the 8th end, it's
And you're up 1 at the time. I think we haven't been watching that game, but obviously a combination of shots not made.
Shot, George.
Back in our own, a great shot by Georgina.
Good weight.
Leaves 2 stones belonging to the Law squad in there, and there's that big 4.
Well, you see, Guy, there was the instant measure, and it is 4.
it's all electronic now. It just
There you go. It's very magic. Very magic.
Actually, I like
They're doing it with
control, so
lasers
stick
here.
around.
they got sensor in the paint now.
Yeah. Now, Kathy, the good news this week is Guy's buying lunch today because he was in Saskatchewan last week and won a big spiel in Yorkton.
Indeed, we have been following your pursuits, Mr.
Hurry!
Hemmings. Great
Yeah.
year for you.
Hurry, quick.
Want to win every 4 years,
Hurry,
not
guys.
bad.
Right up.
But seriously, you're having a
Whoa,
great
whoa,
year.
whoa, that's good.
How much money have you
That's
won
good.
on the tour this year?
Something like 37, 38.
That's great. Congratulations.
I think.
And you'll be sharing that with your morning colleagues.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm going to make reservations at a very nice place, Kath.
Normal.
I gotta call my lead. He's the one in charge of the money. They don't want to let me handle the money anymore. I don't know why.
Well, there must be a story behind that. And by the end of the week, we'll likely find out, Kathy.
Kelly Law wanting to remove the stone to lie 2.
She need to stick here.
Shot.
Sherry Middaugh has the hammer here in the crucial 9th end. Law has the lead at 4-3.
That's a bit of decision. Yeah, you could hit and roll behind there. You could try the double if you're really willing. If you're really looking for a blank hand, you could try the double there. And
Okay, we'll go here.
I think that's where she got 2 options. If you did 2 ticks, she could roll behind the guard, and if you did 2 tens, she could make the double. You know? Still early in the end, but at one point she'll have to really decide what she wants to do with that.
What she wants to do, whether she wants to come through this with a blank, at which point she'll be playing this double very hard all the way. At this point, we're only at Andrea Law's shots. That's the second stones.
Control. Yeah.
Really wanting to use the guard that's in front of the house, although credit to the Kelly Law team, it's nice and tight, which is where you want your guards to be.
Yeah, and we saw them play that line pretty often in the 7th end when she made 2 raise takeout, using about the same line. So even if you make it perfect behind the guard, you could have seen like Kelly Laws and his teammate just play that raise takeout. So that's why you like to have your own rock in front of the house instead of a yellow one.
Top 4.
With only 1 point to her credit for last stand, Kelly Law didn't have a shot on her last one, and why she threw it through the house. Really, really wants to force the hand, even though she would like to have last rock coming home to steal a point or potentially 2 here.
We got room.
Would be just a huge bonus for the Law team.
Line's good.
Looks like lots, guys. Looks like lots.
Hammer belongs to Middaugh.
Line's fine.
The lead to Law.
The end
Line's
when you
good.
Julie Skinner and her first stone. Here in the 9th.
Whoa. Nice shot.
Stop it there.
Nice weight. In front of the tee line, behind the center guard that belongs to them as well.
These are pretty much even, Janet.
Over on sheet A from the Cali Club in Regina, Michelle Ridgway against Colleen Jones. Jones has the lead 6-4. They're playing the 9th.
And it's a big shot for Michelle. She's facing one down 2 points. This pulls her within 1 point, and at this point in the game and with the 4 guard zone, that's right in the thick of things. Doesn't want to give up another point.
Really can't afford to here. So Ridgway delivers.
Line's good. Line's good.
She's got a good line.
No.
Colleen Jones took control with a big 3 in the 6th. Ridgway looking to cut into a 2-point lead.
Just short.
And she's short. A steal of 1 for
Way
Jones.
too much weight.
And a commanding 7-4 advantage coming home.
One of the few misses or miscues that we've seen from 3rd Janet Brown today. You heard Sherry Middaugh say way too much weight, was looking for sort of board back line to come down to that stone and tap it out. Went by on the outside. Huge advantage, huge opportunity for Kelly Law with 3rd stone being thrown by Julie Skinner. This is Julie's 2nd one, so we're getting very late in this end. Already lies 2, 1 behind the guard.
Line's good.
Wants to come back around there again.
Per line.
Whoa.
Around.
Yeah, that's a really good situation for Kelly Law's team.
Yep.
Final stone of the end for Kelly Law's 3rd, Julie Skinner.
Sort of in the middle. Okay.
Ooh, a little rub out front, but may not work out badly.
Should have left it all the way and it would have.
If Wayne, instead of Sherry would throwing that stone, you have to be careful
like the
about those
double
2
and
yellow
sit
because
there.
the double would be there for him. I don't know if he's there
That's
for.
good. Normal.
I was wondering how you got to there, but it was.
Oh yeah.
No.
Wayne would approach this a little differently than Sherry, is
I
what
think
you're saying.
that's an easy double for him right there.
Strictly because of the great weight that those players are able to throw consistently.
Yeah.
3rd Janet Brown for Sherry Middaugh.
Hurry, quick.
Trying to run that rock back and get rid of that rock on the 4-foot.
That's
They
good.
get it done.
doesn't, but at least leaves her own stone up there, something
So
that she
they
can use
work
to
with
draw
the red
it.
stone in front rather than have that yellow out there. So.
Okay, great. More ice. I should have given you
That
more
was a key
ice.
point, keeping the red in front of the house, because I think now she made the switch. Now she's going to go for scoring a deuce, and she needs some rock of her own in front of the house to be able to tap it or play a nice raise takeout. Because the way the hand's going, no way she's going to be able to blank now.
No. Kelly knows that, you know, in every game, you usually have one end that you've really got a chance to put it to the other team. And already lying 2, even though there's a red guard out front, Kelly really feels if she puts this rock in the right spot, which is sort of tucked halfway around that, she'll be lying 3, and there won't be a whole lot of angles for Sherry Middaugh.
Clean it.
Just
She
clean,
needs
guys.
to tuck that one a bit behind, even if it's just a piece, just to cut the round down straight, round back. You know.
Skip stones, and this is the first for
Whoa.
She's playing
Kelly Law.
Whoa. It's over curling. Sit, baby.
Just
Nice
wants
shot,
to
Kelly.
take away the straight back. She's done.
I thought she was going in the house too. Like I thought she was trying to just tuck it behind the red one, but she decided to play the simpler shot. It's safer.
What's
You
that?
don't have
We
a
can use
chance
that for my last
to
one,
raise the
Janet,
red
I
in the
think.
house and give a
I
chance
still
for a
think
big
I think we
hand.
need to
for-
try this.
If we make it now, though, we still have a chance.
And still
getting
forcing Middaugh to make some big shots with her rocks here.
Take this.
Can we hear
You gotta
Wayne
take
from
this
here
turn,
yelling
yeah.
double?
Right? Okay, firm weight.
It is quite a story. The Middaughs
It's
both
definitely
looking
there.
for Olympic berths.
That's a fairly flat double. You know, you need to throw lots of weight to be able to remove that. But at that point, she doesn't
Half a rock
really
should
need
do
to
it.
kill the both yellow as long as she
Push it
can
May
it
go
open.
over here,
like
but
Yeah.
at least it's open. They looked at removing that, but then Kelly puts it back. You're still going to face the same shot. Even if you don't remove both yellow stones right here from play, you'll at least poke the other one out into the open. Get it off the forefoot and leave your shooter there.
Because your shooter's going to be buried after that, so you don't mind if you, even if you don't
Pretty good.
pushed it out. You know.
Nothing
This would
stolen
suggest.
so far
Oh, geez.
in this one.
Whoa. 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 No.
That stat would tell you that both skips have used their last rock to their advantage and made really big shots.
Yeah.
First stone for Sherry Middaugh.
We saw her kind of have a bit of a shake
don't
coming
pick
out
that
of the
one.
hack.
Let's try moving. We're gonna wait you over there.
Yeah, there was a Wayne's call, but a geese throws.
Nice
Very good,
delivery.
Mr. Hemmings.
Sorry? I said nice delivery.
That's what I meant.
Well, someone said it was a nice delivery down there.
I think it's very fine.
Just pushed out a little hard, caught her knee on the ground right away. Mark of a really good player is even when you don't come out absolutely perfectly,
She
you
adjusted,
just
right?
focus very much on where you're throwing. She didn't make the double, but she was obviously close enough to the stick to make contact and nose hit. For Kelly, remove that stone.
There's one thing I can't comment about is deliveries. It's part of my contract. I can't.
Clean.
Here's the final stone for Kelly Law.
Yep.
In the ninth.
Whoa.
Law with the lead. Middaugh with the hammer.
Try to roll it the other way.
Looking to roll off the Middaugh red stone a little bit more, perhaps, but
That's a pretty good shot.
it's not bad because
Okay,
Middaugh
we
has
took,
one stone to come. And is there the
I'm gonna make sure we get
opportunity
my
for the
top
deuce?
No,
No.
Not really, is it?
There?
I mean,
Yeah.
because there are no other red stones in play. So, this
Oh.
one's out. You're probably thinking it was biting, John, that if she
yeah.
made the double,
There's no way to
there's
A little bit
no
more,
way.
Janet.
slide that
Gotta
in.
make
No,
sure we
it's
get
not.
by.
This double is so thin that you would do that on a desperation. She's got the entire lid over here to draw to. She's done it. Kelly's
Line
done
weight.
it. It's time to do
Yeah.
it.
T-line,
Only
huh?
one option here.
The entire lid. You hear that? that's a front end comment.
It
That's
is. Like
easy.
Connie,
All you have
you
to
got
do
the
is
whole
hit
lid.
Okay, so what I've been throwing.
Big shot. It makes a difference of being tied up. Coming home in the free guard zone of 4 rocks, in which last rock isn't always a huge advantage,
Line's good.
or being down as many as 3.
Line's great.
Sweep right from the start.
Come on, hurry.
Sherry Middaugh, final stone of the ninth.
They
Looking
jump
for
on it.
14.
Guys, quick! Quick!
Had trouble with the draw earlier. Has she got it down now? She needs
on the top and a little bit light.
So she gives up a steal of 2. And the draw weight has been a problem for Sherry Middaugh all morning long. Kelly Law
Sorry, guys. I think I got it going.
sneaks 2 away from Sherry Middaugh for a 6-3 lead. Coming home. We're at the Canadian Curling Trials, live from Regina.
The 2001 Canadian Curling Trials on TSN are brought to you by the all-new 2002 Toyota RAV4. You belong outside.
It's the opening draw. Let's run down what's happened so far on Sheet A. Michelle Ridgway and Colleen Jones. Jones gets a big 3 in 6, and there's the advantage of 7-4. Right next door, it's LaRouche falling behind Fowley. 8-5 there. The Battle of the Sherrys, we've talked about this morning. That's all even at 6. Amber Holland and Kathy King. It's a 5-4 advantage for Holland as they play 9. And a bit of a surprise, I would suggest, on Sheet E, our feature match this morning. Sherry Middaugh has struggled against Kelly Law and gave up a steal of 2 in 9. So it's a long way back for Middaugh, Kat.
It is. It's not so much that it's a surprise with the score. We expect that there would be some good shot making, and we have certainly seen that this morning. What has been the difference in this game is something that Sherry Middaugh usually has in her arsenal, which is great control of draw weight. There have been 4 times in this game when points could have gone up on the board that just didn't, because she was light, and it was always light and always tight. We saw her tick just on that guard in the last end. That's a 2-point difference, you know, whether she's going to take a point or she gave up 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
Instead of being tied up coming home, all of a sudden now she's down 3, which makes it really tough.
That's good.
Yeah, the only thing good going for her, let's say, she's going to be happy now she's playing a 4-rock 3-guard zone.
Might as well feel that one. Drop high one.
Well, I'm just talking about the surprise, though, guys, just in the fact that Middaugh has struggled as much as she has. Not that the score is where it is right now, because, I mean, these are 2 fairly evenly matched teams going in, but to give up a steal of 2 at the point she did is somewhat surprising, because it was close till there.
Kelly throwing her first stone through. She feels she has enough points on the board that she doesn't need to score anymore, and wants to minimize the number of rocks in play. And now that the 4-guard game is no longer in effect and that she can hit rocks, that's what they'll be trying to do, is remove stones from play.
Nice shot. Shot. Die. Halfway, Andrea.
Sherry's going to go for another corner guard. She's hoping for a nose hit or a flash, or just miss completely. She have a chance to go tuck a couple behind corner guards. She got some kind of a break on Diane Nelson's second stone. She was a bit short. She tried to hit it top of the 4-foot, and she was just biting down. So the way the ice is swinging now, you still could go around this and bury a couple of stones. So basically right now she already had 2 guard.
Yes, that she can use. She's got something.
That's good. That's good.
Wants to keep as much separation between all of those stones so there's no doubles.
Easy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's good.
Andrea Laws for Sherry Middaugh. Something to work with out front. Over on Sheet A, it's Michelle Ridgway of the Cali and Regina, and Colleen Jones, the defending world champion. It's almost at an end there in the 10th end. A couple of rocks left, and Jones has a commanding 7-4 advantage.
It's about elimination for Colleen if she's able to remove one of the red stones belonging to Michelle Ridgway from play. It would be time to shake hands and put that first victory in her corner. And in our game, at the top of the house there, on the top of the screen, Georgina makes a very good double, removes 2 stones from play.
And time is running out for Sherry Middaugh as well as Michelle Ridgway. On Sheet A, Colleen Jones goes after the win here. Needs to remove 1 Ridgway stone.
Thanks.
And that will do it.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks. Good luck your next. Thanks. Good luck your next.
So the first victory
in
Regina is registered by the defending champion of the world, Colleen Jones.
So well. Tired. So well. That's okay.
You did a good game, too. Good game. Yeah, man, am I getting a nap?
Corner guard.
Someone's going for a nap. The girls don't play again until this evening.
Well,
Men's draw coming up at 1:30 Eastern time.
Doesn't matter.
Time zones do come into play in the first game. Colleen and her team from Nova Scotia would have found that 6 o'clock this morning to wake up and have breakfast to come to this game would have felt pretty early.
Well, a long trip from Atlantic Canada, but they did arrive a little bit early. The Jones team, they were here early in the week, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay, then she's just going to nap then. That just shoots the hole in my time zone theory.
Well, you're having trouble. What time zone from Manitoba coming here?
Shot, Julie.
It's the same time zone.
Oh, it is?
Right here, Janet?
At this time of the year.
At this time of the year.
Okay.
Not very many rocks in play. The Kelly Law team has done a very good job of removing as much as they can. And so the time is waning, and there's not that many rocks in play. And so now wanting to come in the house with Janet Brownstone.
Yeah, Georgiana made a rice double peel, killing both guards. So it's tough after that when you get.
Hurry, guys. Fires will go quick.
Far as you can. Come on, hurry.
Hard.
Hurry.
Separation.
Definitely running out of rocks. Trailing by 3 in 10.
At this level, we can expect like a completely miss and stuff like so. It's tough to come back.
Just on the nose.
Once the double peel is made.
Do you want the run through or the peel?
Straight peel?
Yeah.
Over on sheet C, Sherry Fraser of Richmond,
get this one on the way by.
British Columbia against Sherry Anderson of Delisle, Saskatchewan. This was 6-6 in 9.
Sherry Fraser.
Seesaw battle all morning. Sorry,
A chance to score 3, which is considered huge at any point in the game, but in the 9th, it is a monster, and she gets the 3 points.
Fine.
That's a huge shot. Sherry, probably the least known team in this field. They got here by winning one of the Olympic trials berths.
I mistakenly thought I turned
There
it
were
a hair.
4 bonspils held across the country last year. Sherry and her team did win one of those.
I think it was Welton Bosch.
It was the Welton in Ottawa, indeed.
That's pretty good, eh?
Kelly Law trying to drive that stone straight back, removed her own, but left the red stone belonging to Sherry Middaugh's team in the house, but not too worried because there are no other stones in play. And it will be about a simple removal of a stone.
No, all on its own.
All she need to do is to do contact with their last 2 stones.
Sit.
And the W will be hers.
Sit.
Middaugh running out of rocks after a
But it does happen.
time in the 9th. Steal of 2 for
Then you lie.
Kelly Law.
Nose.
And that will be pretty well the margin of victory, or at least enough for the victory. Law was leading at the time.
Yeah, she could finish it right there with a double there.
What's that?
That didn't help.
Well, I don't think we had much hope anyhow.
Smiling bravely through it, but it was a tough couple of ends for Sherry Middaugh in particular.
She won't look back on this game as having given the performance that she knows that she's capable of. As Guy said earlier, you really want to come out the first game, and even if you lose, you want to really feel like you played really well. And I think what Sherry Middaugh will take away from this game is the fact that her team played very well. Sherry has made some very, very good shots. It's just her draw weight wasn't where she'd wanted to be, and that was the difference in this whole game, and all the chances for 2 that weren't made, and certainly in the 9th end that put her in the situation of being 3 down coming home.
Yeah. Well, we have to have her open miss anyhow.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So it doesn't really matter.
Just clean the ice really good.
You will.
Okay.
Sherry's comment, of course, being it doesn't really matter where they put this. They need a miss from Kelly Law in order to move on. And Kelly just reminding her front end on her last shot, it's really important that they keep it clean.
Even when you put it on the side, Kelly's probably going to play the same lines just through like the one on top of the house. So.
Sure.
Sherry Middaugh has pretty well run out of rocks here in 10, down by 3. Needs a flat-out miss by Kelly Law to have any opportunity to get back to even at 6 and force an extra. And virtually impossible when you look at this situation here. So they've taken that one a little deeper than they would have liked, and there's
It's virtually unlikely, but it can happen. It's not impossible.
Not in the least. This is curling.
Oh, I've curled brutal.
You can see the sweeper taking care of the ice now, make sure that the rock doesn't pick any debris on his way to the stone. We always do try to keep it as clean as possible, but especially on the last shot, like he always make it extra careful. She know that patch, she just threw a stone. The first stone was right in this path, and she made a takeout earlier in the fourth and the same path, so there's no surprise for her there.
Kelly Law, her final stone in 10.
Clean.
Clean. Whoa.
Clean.
Whoa.
Clean. Clean. Clean.
Remove this Middaugh stone, and she'll run Sherry Middaugh out of rocks.
Thanks, Diane. Good luck.
Good game.
Thanks, Julie. Good luck. Good luck.
Well played game by
Good luck.
Kelly Law and her team from British
Thanks, Kelly.
Columbia.
Good luck. Thanks. Good luck. I think my stuff's down here. Do we have to leave this way?
Scoring a 6-3 victory over Sherry Middaugh. That's win number 1 for Law and Company at the Canadian Curling Trials. But there's a long week and a long way to go. Kelly Law comes through with her first victory over there on sheet E. Kelly Law over Sherry Middaugh. The final was 6-3 after Middaugh gave up a steal of 2 in the ninth. It was really pretty well over there. Over on sheet C, handshakes all around. This was the battle of the Sherry Fraser over Sherry Anderson. Anderson of Delisle, Saskatchewan, Fraser of the Richmond Curling Club out there in Richmond, British Columbia. The defending world champion Colleen Jones got the advantage there and beat Michelle Ridgway 7-4, big 3 in the sixth for Jones there. And it's now final on sheet B.
Great shot.
Heather Fowling of Calgary Glencoe over Marie-France LaRouche of the Victoria Curling Club in Savoie. 8-6 is the final.
That looks pretty hot.
So let's go to D, guys, and finish this one off here.
This has probably been the tightest game that has been out there. Amber Holland and Kathy King, formerly Kathy Borst, that's probably the name that many of you know her as and how she won her spot. This has been a 1-1, 1-1, 1-1 kind of game, and it hasn't been a defensive battle. There has always been lots of rocks in play and a tremendous number of great shots made. We're in a situation where Amber Holland is down 1 coming home with last rock. She's throwing red. The yellow stones belong to Kathy King. If she wants to go further, she needs to score at least 1. This is Kay Montgomery, her third.
Amber Holland's team from the Cali Curling Club right here in Regina.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
That's a good shot.
It's a good shot. She's not lying shot, but she's moved it off the forefoot at least.
It's one of those back, right?
It's not easy, though.
Well, she got rocks in play, though. When you need to score a deuce, you want some rocks in play. You need some rock to be able to bury one to score your deuce. That's a good point for Amber Holland. But now she's got to find a way to put one in shot rock behind those guards. Now she made her first task was to remove the rock from the forefoot because it's tough to score a deuce when the opponents always have a rock in the forefoot.
Amber Holland, the young skip, former Canadian junior champion. His team won the spot by winning the first Bonds Bowl, which was held in Calgary last year.
The Amber Holland team together 4 years, and they won the Husky Autumn Gold Classic in Calgary to qualify for Regina. Kathy King, formerly Kathy Borst, 98 Scott Tournament of Hearts winner.
Listen to see what some of their options might be.
I think she's going to try and raise one of those, right? You guys like this?
She's going to be playing a tap.
She's going to tap something.
Yeah. I like to bring something under here.
Yeah, and we can't on the other way.
Yeah.
Here comes the coach, Daryl Horn, who also happens to be the husband of lead
We could,
Kate
I mean, we
Horn.
could try and... What about trying this?
You like that? Well, she can see from that end, she can see probably a third to a quarter. I think she could nose it, but
Yeah. We were thinking hit and rolling more to guard their double.
yeah,
Bump.
they're bumps. We want to be guarding that, don't we?
Well, I'd be more concerned about her just coming in here.
Right now. Because I think we saw that. If she buries around there, we're not going to be able to move it with any weight because it runs too straight. Let's see what he's saying. So I think
However you want to play off that one, but
yeah.
Well, I don't want to make sure I hit it in. That's the problem there. I can't touch it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I think what he's saying though, she might not tap. She might come around, and like just like that end a couple ends ago. What are you going to do?
Okay. So if we sit here.
Steal for King in 7, and she picked up 2 and 9.
She's really worried about advantage. She's really worried about those two red in front of the house. And
how far are we going?
Looking at
there?
This is where
Amber could do something with those, and she tried to.
Here, right?
Yeah.
So she seems to want to play the hit and
right
roll
here.
first. The coach tried to talk to her to throw the guard around, which will do the same purpose, which cutting the raise takeout,
Yeah,
the raise
that's
draw.
fine.
Differing of opinions for sure. Daryl Horn was more worried about not hitting and rolling off one, but just trying to protect where Amber might come in. Kathy's concern, obviously, about the 2 red stones that you're looking at in front of the house, the guards, thinking that Amber will raise those back. They are pretty far.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we can accomplish 2 things at once, right?
Yeah.
They're not easy raise, but it's the only thing all the Amber has, so we've got to protect again. I think they decide to play the draw, just if it's a bit heavy, just wick on the tight guard in the house and goes in.
Kathy King without the hammer, coming home in 10. She has the lead at 6-5.
Whoa!
You don't want to go behind the tee here.
No, you sure don't, and she's sliding.
Here it comes. Too deep? Yes.
It seems a bit too deep because now if you sit on it, she might be able to be shot rock or give him some backing for a raise.
Yeah. Amber didn't waste any time. Obviously, her and Kay had talked about what they're doing. What is a bit of a surprise, I think, to Kathy King is that she's not playing the tap as in the bump. She's playing the hit.
Oh, yeah. 3/4, good. Just
Amber Holland
2/3, actually.
from Regina has the hammer in 10, down by 1.
Just normal.
Holland's first stone in 10.
Yep. Pull.
She's playing a hit.
Oh, close.
Does she get it?
Well, she's got it, but the problem is that she removes it, but she's second shot, but it's wide open. Whereas if she had played the tap, she would have been potentially in the 4-foot behind guards.
I'm surprised.
It's a bit of a questionable call.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with using those red stones, but to play the hit.
I think the margin of errors are smaller when you play the raise takeout like this, you know, because she threw a pretty good stone. The results are not bad, but she's just like maybe a 1/4 of an inch on the stone and still not good enough. Like if you try to raise draw, at least even you could have pushed it behind the yellow guard or behind the red guard, as long as your shot rock would have been all right.
Pretty well normal.
One of the things we were able to hear Amber say to Kay was we'll achieve 2 goals. So one of them obviously was to remove the shot stone, which she did, although she didn't stick for shot. The other one was to open up the 4-foot path. So Amber feels I'm thinking that at a minimum she's got the 4-foot to draw to if she needs it for her point.
Here's the final stone for Kathy King in 10.
Whoa.
King with the lead.
Close.
Amber Holland, her opponent, has the hammer and 1 stone to come.
Moves it and rolls out.
So 1 Stone belonging to
What was
Kathy
it?
King.
Okay. All right.
Still counting. The hammer belonging to Amber Holland. So a chance
Every time I throw
to
keel, it
drop
feels like normal here.
for the tie.
Looks like she'd like to go for. She played the first stone like she wanted to take her point here and take her chance an extra hand at the 4 rocks 3 guard zone. The chance are for stealings are better than usual, than the 3 rock 3 guard zone. So looks like she decided to play that style and make sure she had a shot on her last one instead of gamble a bit more in the first stone and maybe forced to lose the game in the 10-10. So she decided, like, I'm not gonna lose the game in the 10-10. I'm gonna make sure I got a shot and take my chance in the extra hand.
Amber's known for great draw weight. She's thrown 12 this game so far, 83%. Doesn't mean anything if she doesn't make this, but it would suggest that it's a comfort zone for her. Sweeper's just keeping it clean.
So here's Amber Holland's final shot.
She's
Chance
certainly
to
in the
force
range.
an extra end against Kathy King.
No
Anywhere in there. Well, what do you say, Guy? Let's play one more.
Why
So
not?
much fun so far. Canadian curling trials, an extra end coming up as Amber Holland gets even with Kathy King at the Canadian curling trials.
Where is he?
Welcome back to the Canadian curling trials. Guy Hemmings has done one broadcast on TSN. They've already suggested he might run for Prime Minister. You can vote for at www.tsn.ca.
How fair is that? Nobody wants me to be Prime Minister.
And you
And
worked
with good reason.
And he's a rookie. The interesting thing, it must have been that close shave that Guy got this morning for
guess
television.
so.
That's probably it. Yeah.
Okay?
I don't know if I'm gonna go for that. Like, I think I'm aiming for a race job. There's more money in it.
Nice shot, Pat.
Well, if Guy is PM, Kathy Gauthier,
Well,
have you
you know
got a
what?
cabinet post in mind?
Well, no, but I'm just thinking it supports your theory that you wanted to call this show John Guy and the Girl. I wanted to call it the French Connection and the Anglo.
And basically, it's called nothing right now except draw number 1 at the Canadian curling trials because neither of those titles would pass scrutiny, obviously. Anyway, back to curling. We've got an extra end. Amber Holland has come back to tie Kathy King, and it's the only match still going here on
Take the yellow
sheet
right over.
D.
Okay, good shot.
Draw number 1.
Interesting call, like on the hammers. We come back to this if you don't mind, Kathy. Like,
No.
I don't know, like you gotta play a chance to win the game in a 10-10 or take your chance of steal in the last 10. I don't know if there's number about it, but we've been playing the 3 rock 3 guard zone. Obviously, there's more chance of a steal with a 4 rock 3 guard zone, but what's the chance to steal in the extra hand? Or even though the chances are better, it's still very, very slim. Especially on good ice condition. If you play a tricky curling club, tricky ice, I think the chances are better to steal. But on good ice, and those guys know the ice, they can hit and stuff like this. It's going to be really, really tough to steal.
It's a really funny call that she made. Not funny haha, but funny weird in the sense that she did remove the stone, but if she hits it a little thicker or thinner, then all she's done is left the same situation. She hasn't used the guards to her advantage. So did she get her point? You bet. If that's what it was about. But she certainly did have a chance to win, Guy. You're right.
Yeah, you come back at the beginning of the game. Let's say we give you a chance. You're playing the 10-10. I'll tell you, you got to raise a rock in the 8-foot, full in 8-foot, maybe touching the 4-foot to win.
I'm in.
You're gonna take it probably. Yeah, that's probably a chat in the first shot, and she decided not to do it.
Whoa.
That's why, like, I do agree with you. I think it's funny in one way. You gotta force the play when you gotta hammer a bit, and if you have a chance to win, you gotta go for it.
No doubt. And we certainly got rocks in play. We've seen this situation. Extra ends with the 4 guard zone. There's no clear advantage to having last rock other than you get to throw the last rock. But there's always so many in play. For Amber, this end is going to be about steal, 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 steal. Asking Karen Purdy, her second, to get in there first. Not great figures for Karen, but first game,
tight for line.
Sometimes it's tough. Former compatriot with me, won Manitoba in 1994, and then Karen had the unfortunate incident the day after we won the provincial finals. She broke her ankle outside of the curling club, which opened the door, and Kathy Overton Clapham came in, played third for us, and we went on to win the Canadian Championships and lost the World Final that year.
So it was 92-95 for you, right?
For winning
Scott?
Canada, yes.
Likely not the first broken ankle at a curling club in this country.
No, but what a lousy time to do it.
Can't go through them, but you can try and get it right in the middle. Peel.
Shot by Karen deep, not where you want to be when you're trying to steal points and you've got guards up front. Allows Brenda Bomer to try to remove some of those stones. Kathy thinks if they hit it really hard right in the middle, they might squirt through a little bit. Brenda's numbers also not so strong this morning. Very good player.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Extra end. Kathy King and Amber Holland. King will have the hammer. Holland took one in 10 to force the extra.
That's what she wants. She wants to move those two red out and trade it for one yellow guard. At least if you're forced to throw a round back on your last stone, or later in the end, he's going to draw it with one of your stone. That's the good point about removing those two red and trade it for a yellow one.
Yeah. For Karen, a second chance to get in there.
Line's good.
Top four is great.
Yeah, line.
Short is better than too long. Obviously, with this one, that's really short. You got to get in there and force Caddy to throw more takeout on the yellow there, and after that, you might get a chance to lie too, and never know if Caddy can roll out on his last stone. That's one chance you have to steal.
Peel.
That's right. Even though Karen would have liked to have been in the top 4 foot, trying to steal points, you're always, this is what we would call a good miss. If you're going to not make the shot, better to be in front of the house than to be deep. Brenda again being asked to remove.
Yeah, she's going for the double takeout now. She had a chance to double kill it.
Okay, good.
Just too thin. So back to square one. You got to put one in behind, even if it's not buried completely. Just force Caddy King to go after the guard, and after that you could throw a better guard on it. You know, doesn't need to be perfect right now. It just need to be good enough to force King to peel the guard that's in front of the house right now.
Down to third stones here in the extra end.
Another 60. I don't know if we've got the Russian judges on this sheet because all the percentages are in the 60s, or the teams have just really struggled to make all their shots.
Coming now, little.
Kay Montgomery's first stone.
We're to it.
Here in the extra.
Yep. Yep.
The draw is absolutely Kay Montgomery's favorite shot.
Quick.
Ooh, they let that die a little bit. Sometimes we see ice conditions change somewhat. There were 5 full sheets out here. Now there's just one. And the ice can do a little bit of tricky things.
One thing you could do too, we're playing extra end now, so sometimes it's flattened out in a sliding path, you know, like all the curlers from 5-6 hands that come through the house and just ring off those pebbles in the sliding path, and it get fudgy, as we call it.
Yes.
So this one might just has fudge on it.
Talk about it.
Both teams were really low in time. In the extra ends, they blank out the clocks and give both teams 10 minutes to play, regardless of what they had left on their clock. You don't carry that time over.
Because then they were just making it easier. She still has the bump there, so.
On that red one?
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't have to move very far. We're not exactly.
Yeah, so if we corner freeze on it.
Okay.
I think that's.
What, I can't bump it though.
No.
So top 12's fine.
Top 12's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's gonna throw a corner freeze on it if we understand it properly.
Just wants to come right down here. There's no way to really remove that stone, and they know that if there is, actually, if they pick it out, this is the rock that, because it's behind the tee line, that Amber's going to continue to try to draw against. So by corner freezing it, they feel that they're going to sort of take away a better draw shot from Amber and also protect the bump that Amber's team might make next.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you're all Amber right now, you got to be happy she's going to throw something in front of the house, you know, because she could come around the other side and just hide half a rock behind those guards. You know, you need some rock in play if you want to steal something, and right now Caddy King's putting some rocks in play, so you should be happy about it.
This is Lonnie McDonald.
Quarter freeze is not an easy shot. You know, you're asking your third to do a really tough shot in a situation that you maybe don't need such a tough shot.
I know.
Right here, freeze it.
Disagree.
Yep.
Kathy King has the hammer here in the extra end. Her third, Lonnie McDonald.
Lonnie was Lonnie Goodfellow until earlier this year when she married another strong curler out of Alberta, Blake McDonald. Throws the guard, and for Amber Holland's team, that's what they want. They want those stones in front of the house. This is a big shot for Kay.
Yeah, that was a ginger about playing that corner guard, because that
Line's
corner
good.
freeze, because as soon as if you're long is no good, if you're short is no good. So it was a really low percentage of success, you know, and everything that you miss on that shot, like she could have elected to play the double kill the yellow and try to get the red at the same time, you know, just open the 4-foot, because that's all you want on your last shot. You don't need to score 3 or 4.
Alrighty.
Ouch.
A little strong.
It's I think it's only
A lot
like
strong.
on the center line.
On the
that
center,
it's,
that it's
like out there, I think you're okay.
Yep, okay, in terms of weight.
Okay.
Obviously, this is not too good.
No, and I think that the conversation that we're hearing is Kay threw a little bit more weight, thinking she needed a little bit more. You heard Amber just saying it is, in fact, a sliding path, the only path that seemingly is getting a little bit heavier. So in this area that they're in, it should be the same weight.
Yeah,
Kathy knows she can't blank this. Doesn't want to blank this, but knows that there's going to be lots of rocks. Figures Lonnie might as well get in there first.
Lots of room.
Kathy King with the hammer.
Lots of room. We're wide open.
That's where
After
it gets
Amber Holland tied it
Where is it?
10.
really tough for the sweeper when you got different weight. Like you get 20 seconds, let's say 24 seconds in the side and 23 in the middle, stuff like this. As long as you're a couple of feet difference, it's always tough to judge. You know?
It's very tough.
Well,
how much of the fudge you're gonna pick and stuff. It's really, really, really tough.
Or we could just play the tap on the top one, or like nose on the top one. We still have a couple options. I think we got to get in there now, though, don't you?
Yeah.
It's about time.
At one point, you'll have to get in, that's for sure.
Looking at a couple of options.
Should be good.
Skips rocks to come, Kat.
Amber talked about playing on this yellow one, tapping the red one into the 4-foot. She felt that was an option. But, you know, so is this. This is a far easier shot. If she gets in there, makes it really tough for them. She's got that center one if she needs it later, but when you have the chance to get shot by the open draw, that's probably a better percentage shot.
Maybe a broom with more.
Yeah, when you play a double raise, you gotta worry about two angles. It's tougher, you know. Like you gotta, plus the weight. The weight's gonna be a bit more than T-line. Now all you have to do is through T-line weight and make it by the guard. You don't have to worry about the line, how much momentum I'm gonna lose by touching this stone and the other stone. So I need like back 12, back line weight. It's tough to judge.
I agree.
Let it work a bit.
For rock, we're seeing far outside. We'll see how much it cut to the middle. We didn't see that much often in our game either. But.
First stone on the extra end for Amber Holland. Even at 6. Amber took your advice.
Great weight. Didn't move a whole heck of a lot. Pretty much wide open.
Who threw one down here, Brenda?
But she'll make Kathy take
Throw weight, hey?
a run at it.
No, this is fine. What's that? If we can.
Gotta be careful not hitting on the high side and jam it on the yellow and give a chance to light too, you know.
From the hack, this rock is wide open.
Yeah, you want to hit on the nose because even if you flop open, like that's mean that you give the same shot to your Amber, you know, twice in a row. And now she's probably going to take a bit less ice.
It kind of runs a bit here.
She will be confident about the weight, and she might tuck the next one better. So it's really important she hit on the nose, not only for the jam, but make sure she blocked that hole there.
Saw the similar percentage shown for Amber Holland, so both skips keeping things very even.
First rock of the extra end for Kathy King from the Otwell Curling Club in Edmonton.
Whoa! Whoa!
Has she got it?
That's a good shot.
It's a good shot, blocks off that side.
It's good.
How about the best you could do with that?
Very much.
Kind of weight back line.
So what's left for Amber Holland's final stone?
We got to move 2 rocks.
The shot that we
To
talked
there,
about
hey?
earlier, John,
Yeah.
which
I like
is
back line.
about tapping this yellow
And we got this,
stone
right?
onto the red one. It can go back to here. If she's
We gotta
able to
stay on
do
the
that and leave her
outside,
shooter here, then this whole
Well, we do
front of
have
the
to get to
house
it.
will be
Yeah.
covered by stones.
I think there. Yeah, like
The
that.
red one could be shot. This is a shot she was considering playing on her first one.
Well, we got to stay on the outside half, though. Okay. That's good.
That's where it gets really tough. How much weight do you need?
Alrighty.
It's not only
Back
T-line.
line.
You need, yeah, it's it.
Half the yellow.
And you're getting into the patchy area and
On backline, like it's
Half
not
the
going to
yellow
follow
onto
the
our
same
red
pattern.
back.
Well, you know probably you know the line pretty good for the draw weight, but as soon as you throw back line, sometimes it's hang a bit more. Or you obviously
mean,
won't
the
cut
other
as
one?
much as the draw weight, but how much less is going to cut? That's a tough shot.
Yes.
But at least you got something. You know, often when you try to steal, you get an open house. Now she got something.
There are possibilities. Amber Holland, this is her shot for the game. She'll have to steal on Kathy King. 2 rocks to come. This is Amber Holland's final stone.
Oh! Oh, it's got to move.
Hanging on there,
Close.
Looking to play red.
Yeah.
she's close.
Onto yellow.
Got to curl a little more.
There.
Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. You can tell she's from Saskatchewan.
There's the shot.
That could have moved a little more.
That was a pretty nice effort by Amber Holland to put all the pressure on Kathy King with the last stone here
Tighten it up.
in the extra end.
That's a great shot in any building, but in Saskatchewan, she's got a lot of fans and plays this really, really well.
Nice touch.
Great draw weight. Kathy, you can see there's
Okay,
not a
she just run
question
here.
that she can see enough to pick it out. The question is, can she get through the port the right
Normal.
weight?
Just finding the port and she'll make the shot.
She gets through the hole, you're right, Guy.
Yeah, she doesn't need
Well, a
to
little
stay.
bit more
She's
would
second and
have
third
kept our
shot.
shooter there, right?
Amber Holland and her team have done all that they can. This lady will decide the outcome.
Final stone, extra end. Kathy King from the Otwell in Edmonton
Whoa.
for victory in game 1
Whoa! Yeah!
at the Canadian Curling Trials. Her match with Amber Holland from the Cali and Regina. Here's King's shot.
Nicely
She got
done.
it through. She's made the shot. She's won the game. And Amber Holland from Regina put the pressure on and made her make that final shot, Guy.
Yeah, she made it as good as she could make it, but it was tough to push this double raise without losing the shooter. And the shooter rolled a bit too much, leaving the hole.
Katie, good speed.
And Katie didn't miss it.
So the final draw is complete at the Canadian Curling Trials. 20 teams looking for 2 Olympic berths in Salt Lake City. As you can see, it's going to be a great week here in Regina.
Hi, Karsten, I miss you.
A couple of final thoughts on the opening draw here at the Canadian Curling Trials. First, Guy Hemmings.
Yeah, really good games, like lots of tight shot, like lots of good draws made by both teams, except maybe our feature game, like sure, I missed a couple of key draws. And
there you go. Kathy Gauthier.
I think if you take one thing out of what we saw this morning is that the field is very flat. The teams are really even and anybody's going to beat anybody. And you can't just make the draws and hits out here. You're going to have to be able to make the big shot at least 3 times a game if you're going to win.
These guys will make some shots beginning in about a half an hour from now, 1:30 Eastern time. It's Jeff Stoughton against Randy Furby, the 2001 Brier champion. That's the story from draw number 1. Sherry Middaugh struggled. Kelly Law came through with a huge win in the opener here in Regina. It's the roar of the rings. The Canadian Curling Trials on the line. 2 berths at the Olympic Games in Salt Lake City.
TSN.